Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Beach Grove Common Council meeting for the City of Beach Grove. Today's date is June 1st, 2026. My name is James Kaufman, Mayor. I'll defer to the Clerk Treasurer.
And the roll call will introduce ourselves starting on my right.
Chris Duffer, Council at Large.
Dan McMillan, Council at Large.
Elizabeth Lamping, Councilperson, District 1.
Samantha Stratton, Clerk Treasurer.
Ryan Mackins, Council District 2.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Mike Hemmelgarn, City Council, District 3.
Avis Friesen, Councilwoman, District 4.
Mike Ernest, Council District 5.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Call Pastor for invocation. Before we do so, I would like to have a moment of silence for Alfonso Al Perez. He was a longtime employee for the City of Beach Grove, worked out at DPW, worked there for about 40 years or so. Lived here in the City of Beach Grove, worked here in the City of Beach Grove. So he passed away last week, so he was a good man, a good friend of the City of Beach Grove, and a great employee. So we have a moment of silence for him, please. Thank you. And next, invocation.
Join me in a word of prayer. Supreme Ruler of the universe and Heavenly Father, we invoke your blessing at this time. We ask that you guide our deliberations, that you grant us unity of purpose, and that you show us the path wherein we may be in one accord. I pray that you give wisdom to the leaders we have voted into office to serve our community, that you would give them wisdom and strength, and that you'd watch over and bless them. I pray that you would prosper Beach Grove as we seek to do what is right for our community. And we just ask, Lord God, that this meeting, thus begun in order, may be conducted in peace and closed in harmony. Yes. Lord, we love you, we praise you, and thank you. In the precious name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. There are no special presentations this evening. Up first, we do have two public hearings this evening. The first one is public hearing for General Ordinance Number 3, 2026, which is a wheel tax. Before we open up the public hearing, I will defer to the Clerk Treasurer to read the ordinance into the record.
General Ordinance Number 3, 2026 is an ordinance that amends Chapter 39 of the City of Beach Grove's Code of Ordinances, establishing a municipal wheel tax and motor vehicle license excise tax, and creating the city's wheel tax fund and the motor vehicle license excise surtax fund. Whereas the Indiana General Assembly is enacting legislation that revises the state's real estate property taxes in such a manner that the city is projected to see substantial reduction in tax revenues for road and street projects. Whereas absent the adoption of this ordinance, the city will not be eligible for community crossing matching grants. Whereas Indiana Code 6-3.5-11 authorizes the Common Council to impose by ordinance an annual wheel tax of not more than $40 on certain motor vehicles registered within the city. Whereas Indiana Code 6-3.5-10 authorizes the Common Council to impose by ordinance an annual license excise tax surtax at a rate of not more than $25 on certain vehicles registered in the city. Whereas the wheel tax authorizes the Common Council to impose the wheel tax at a different rate for each class of vehicle subject to the Wheel Tax Act. In addition, the Wheel Tax Act authorizes the Common Council to establish different rates within different classes of buses, recreational vehicles, semi-trailers, tractors, and trucks based on weight classification established by the Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Whereas the Excise Tax Act authorizes the council to impose the excise surtax on each motor vehicle that is subject to the tax or impose the excise tax on vehicles subject to the excise surtax at one or more different amounts based upon the class of vehicles. Whereas the Wheel Tax Act prohibits the Common Council from adopting an ordinance imposing a wheel tax act unless the Common Council concurrently adopts an ordinance under Indiana Code 6-3.5-10-1 to impose the annual motor vehicle license excise surtax, whereas pursuant to Indiana Code 6-3.5-10-1, the Common Council is concurrently adopting a motor vehicle license excise surtax, whereas the city utilizes a traffic asset management plan referred to as its Pavement Asset Management Plan, which is approved by the Indiana Department of Transportation, whereas the money collected by the Bureau of Motor Vehicles under this ordinance and collected by the city must only be used for the stated purposes as provided by Indiana law, and whereas the Common Council deems it necessary to establish the excise surtax and the wheel tax so that it may generate revenue to support the safe operation and continued maintenance of the streets and roads under the jurisdiction of the city. Now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council as follows. Amend Chapter 38, Wheel Tax and Motor Vehicle License Excise Tax. 38.15, Establishment of Wheel Tax and Fund. A. Definitions. The definitions and provisions set forth in Indiana Code 63.5-11-1 are incorporated herein by reference and shall apply throughout this ordinance. B. Wheel Tax Fund. The City of Beech Grove Wheel Tax Fund is hereby created and shall be non-reverting fund, may only be used for the following purposes. 1. To construct, reconstruct, repair, or maintain streets and roads that are under the jurisdiction of the city. 2. As a contribution to any authority established under Indiana Code 367-23 for the city's contribution to obtain a grant from the local road and bridge matching grant fund under Indiana Code 8-23-30, and 4. Any other allowable uses under Indiana Code 6-3.5-11. C. Imposition and rate of wheel tax. Effective January 1st, 2027, the following vehicles registered in the city and subject to the wheel tax shall incur a wheel tax in the amount of $40 pursuant to Indiana Code 6-3.5-11-1. 1. Buses. 2. Recreational vehicles. 3. Semi-trailers. 4. Trailers with a declared gross weight of more than 9,000 pounds. And 5. Trucks and tractors with a declared gross weight of more than 11,000 pounds. D. Pursuant to Indiana Code 6-3.5-11-4, a vehicle is exempt from the wheel tax if the vehicle is 1. Owned by the state of Indiana. 2. Owned by a state agency of the state of Indiana. 3. Owned by a political subdivision of the state of Indiana. 4. Subject to the annual municipal vehicle license excise tax imposed pursuant to Indiana Code 6-3.5-10. 5. A bus owned and operated by a religious or nonprofit youth organization and used to transport persons to religious services or for the benefit of its members. 6. A school bus. 7. A motor vehicle that is a funeral equipment and that is used in the operation of funeral services as defined in Indiana Code 25-15-217. Or 8. Any other vehicle exempt pursuant to Indiana Code 6-3.5-11-4. E. The wheel tax shall be paid to the Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles each year at the time the vehicle is registered. The clerk treasurer shall deposit the wheel tax revenues in a fund to be known as City of Beech Grove Wheel Tax Fund, and shall distribute these funds consistent with Indiana Code 6-3.5-11-1. F. Accounting of wheel tax fund. On or before October 1st of each year, the clerk treasurer shall provide the Common Council an estimate of the wheel tax revenues to be received by the city during the next calendar year. The city shall include the estimated wheel tax revenues in the city's budget estimate for the calendar year. G. Transmittal of ordinance. The Common Council authorizes the mayor or the mayor's designee to provide a copy of this ordinance to the Indiana Department of Revenue and the Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles and required by Indiana Code 6-3.5-11-8. 38.16, Establishment of Motor Vehicle License Excise Surtax and Fund. A. Definitions. The definitions and provisions set forth in Indiana Code 63.5-10-1 are incorporated herein by reference and shall apply throughout this ordinance. B. Motor Vehicle License Excise Surtax Fund. The City of Beech Grove Motor Vehicle License Excise Surtax Fund is hereby created and shall be a non-reverting fund and may only be used for the following purposes. 1. To construct, reconstruct, repair, or maintain streets and roads under the city's jurisdiction. 2. For the city's contribution to obtain a grant from the local road and bridge matching grant fund under Indiana Code 8-23-30. Or 3. Any other allowable uses under Indiana Code 6-3.5-10. C. Imposition and rates of excise surtax. Effective January 1st, 2027, the following vehicles registered in the city and subject to the motor vehicle license excise tax shall be subject to the excise surtax in the amount of $25 pursuant to Indiana Code 6-3.5-10-1. 1. Passenger motor vehicles. 2. Motorcycles. 3. Motor-driven cycles. 4. Collector vehicles. 5. Trailer vehicles with a declared gross weight of 9,000 pounds or less. 6. Trucks with a declared gross weight of 11,000 pounds or less. 7. Mini trucks. 8. Military vehicles. The excise surtax shall be paid with the registration of each such vehicle. D. The clerk treasurer shall deposit revenue received from the excise tax in a fund to be known as the City of Beech Grove Motor Vehicle License Excise Surtax Fund, and shall distribute the surtax fund consistent with Indiana Code 6-3.5-10-10. E. Accounting of wheel tax fund. On or before October 1st of each year, the city clerk treasurer shall provide the common council an estimate of the excise surtax revenues to be received by the city during the next calendar year. The city shall include the estimated excise surtax revenues in the city's budget estimate for the calendar year. F. Transmittal of ordinance. The common council authorizes the mayor or his designee to provide a copy of this ordinance to the Indiana Department of Revenue and the Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles and required by Indiana Code 6-3.5-10-6. 38.17. Effect. This ordinance shall have no effect upon any other sections of the code or ordinances not specifically changed by this ordinance, except as herein provided, and all other sections of the code not inconsistent herewith remain the same. 38.18. Construction. The sections, paragraphs, sentences, clauses, phrases, and words of this ordinance are separable, and if any word, phrase, clause, sentence, paragraph, or section of this ordinance shall be declared unconstitutional, invalid, or unenforceable by the valid judgment or decree of a court of competent jurisdiction, such unconstitutionality, invalidity, or unenforceability shall not affect any of the remaining words, phrases, clauses, sentences, paragraphs, and sections of this ordinance. Now therefore be it ordained that the Common Council desires to amend Chapter 38 of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Beech Grove. Now therefore be it further ordained that this ordinance only applies to the above-mentioned chapter of the Code of Ordinances. Now therefore be it further ordained that the ordinance shall go into effect 60 days after passage by the Common Council, signed by the Council President Pro Tem, attested by the Clerk Treasurer, and signed by the Mayor.
Thank you, Clerk Treasurer Stratton. Long ordinance. So there's a lot of information there. So kind of lead you how we got here. We mentioned last year when SEA 1 property tax bill came through, they implemented a couple different sections of that. One of them was the wheel tax. Basically, they said that you could impose a wheel tax. It could be stacked in the county. So the county had their tax, and the municipality can also implement their own tax. And if you have to do that in order to qualify for community crossing grant money. Okay, that was last year's legislation session. Fast forward a year, they decided no, that's not. They wanted to change some things. So when they amended SB 1 earlier this year, they removed that stipulation and said that you could stack it. So I handed out a document earlier to each of you. It's this one here, the Infrastructure and Transportation bill. So this refers to SEA 179, which is the Indiana Department of Transportation. So SEA 179 was amended. So it basically says the bill permits NDOT to give preference in awarding grants from the fund to local units that have adopted an enhanced asset management program, which is the PAMP that we do. Also, moving forward, this new law separates municipal and county wheel taxes after December 31st, 2026. So basically it says that if you go down, a county may impose the vehicle excise tax if the municipality does not implement their own. So right now we pay the county tax. Every time you go and renew your vehicle at the B&B, you pay the county surtax excise tax to the county, okay? And that money then comes to the City of Beech Grove and helps us fund paving projects. With this new part of the law, it says if we implement our own, Marion County cannot impose one on our vehicles registered in the City of Beech Grove. So it goes back to where you're registered. If the City of Beech Grove decides not to implement our own wheel tax, then it will defer to whatever the county rate is, and the county will get the money. So basically how we are now. So I know there is some discussions for the City of Annapolis and Marion County to increase their rate substantially from the current rate. But again, That would be for them, not in the city of Beech Grove, unless the city decided not to implement our own wheel tax.
So just to make sure I understand
Yes, sir.
that, because today I did get a call from a constituent that talked to Frank Mascari,
Dave
who
Noble?
is, yes,
Yeah.
who is our representative on the city county council. And he said that they were considering about $100 increase.
Correct.
If they go ahead and invoke that or pass that, and we pass this one, we would not be subject to that $100 increase?
Correct. We would have our own rate that is substantially less than everybody surrounding the city of Beech Grove.
Okay,
Lawrence, Speedway, and Southport can do their own, but that's their own take. So if they don't implement, then they would default to the Indianapolis rate.
okay.
But yeah, so we would not go to their increase. It is just totally separate, and that is per SCA 179. It's specific outlines that says you cannot do both.
Okay.
Jim, you know how much the Beech Grove rate would be then?
Yeah,
Was it the
25.
25? Okay, just want to make sure it's
Flat
clear.
rate.
Okay,
So it's
flat
25
rate.
for personal vehicles, and then
40 for commercial.
The commercial
Okay.
buses, all
And
of
then,
these outlets.
and that's not per
Sounds like a
wheel, that's
no-brainer.
per vehicle.
Correct, per vehicle.
Okay.
Per vehicle. So that's the minimum that the state said you should charge a minimum of $25. You can go higher than that clearly, and that's what Indianapolis is choosing to do. We're presenting it going with the minimum rate that you're allowed to do is at $25. That's what we're suggesting going with. Again, some people might save some money, some people might have to pay a little bit more, just depends on what you actually pay now. It's based on the age of your vehicle, what you currently pay. But the states want to go to that flat rate of 25. So it will not increase unless the council decides to increase it later in the future. You have that right to do it. You have the authority to do that, but you don't have to do that. So it's set until you want to change it.
And it won't decrease because the county wheel surtax on my vehicle registration does decrease every year, so it'll stay at the 25.
They want the flat rate. They want all the state legislature is basically saying
Right.
that we're
Right.
going to save money on property taxes, but we're going to give this responsibility and authority back to the local governing bodies, City of Beech Grove, Indianapolis, and all the other cities across the state of Indiana to implement their own taxes on that. So no, they want it to be a flat rate. They don't want it to be based off of age or anything. It's a set flat rate.
So when if this passes, the county wheel sur will become 0, and then the municipal wheel sur will become $25.
That is
And
for
then-
personal, yes,
Right,
unless
right,
it's
for
commercial.
personal, this is
Correct.
correct. Now, will the Bureau of Motor Vehicles charge an administration fee? We need to
That's-
clarify that.
I'm assuming they will. I don't know for sure yet, and we can figure out that information. But that was not outlined in SCA 179, and the property tax bill was not outlined in that one. I don't know if the clerk treasurer has any information or city attorney has any information, but as of now, they don't charge.
Right.
But if the state legislature grants them that ability to charge a fee, I don't know. So that would be outside of. We don't have control over that. So that would not be written in the ordinance, and that's basically what the state can do.
And that administration fee likely would not take away from that $25 captured money. It would be an additional fee per registered vehicle.
I would think so, but I can't. I can't say 100% because they have not informed us municipalities about it.
I'd like to, as far as the city county council, they haven't even come out of committee on this. They don't know where they're at or anything else. The $100, I don't know where it came from, but no matter what, Mayor Hogsett has came out and said he would veto it. So we don't know what Indianapolis is going to do. So I think for us to state that they're going to be $100 and they would implement that on us, that's not necessarily the case.
Well, I'm just going with what was all over the news this weekend, so that's the only thing I'm basing it on, Dan. Nothing else. So I'm assuming there's some truth to that.
Well,
Yeah.
he's the one made
Oh.
statement. I mean, I am a Democrat.
Yeah.
Or I'm a Republican. He's a Democrat. So it sounds like the majority of the council is Democrat, and according to Frank, they don't know they have the votes to override a veto. So
And that's on them. So that's again what they do. That's their own decision. So another caveat to this is they're saying if the municipalities don't implement their own wheel tax, then you aren't automatically eligible for community crossing grants. Okay.
The
And that's
state's
something that-
mandating this then?
I'm sorry.
State's mandating this?
Correct.
Yes.
State, yeah.
So basically it says the community crossing grant. So we've been applying that since 2019, okay? It basically doubles our paving projects every year. We're limited on funds. We all know that. As a city, we are limited on our funds. So the state implemented that in 2019. It comes from your gas tax, basically, okay? So we applied for that. We've been successful every year that we've applied. Right now, we have a current paving project. So they're saying if you don't, then you have the potential of losing access to those funds, okay? If you don't implement your own. And that's outlined there. It says, the department may give preference in awarding grants from the fund to local units that have adopted an enhanced asset management plan, okay? So basically they're saying if we don't, we might not be eligible for that, and they can give preference to people who are implement their own. So here, Tim Cochran, he's our DPW director, he came with this document, basically has everything outlined on what we've received with Community Crossing. So, and why it isn't so important that, that we have this,
So, and
or we
it's,
have the ability to receive this additional funding.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
so I just want to make sure it's very clear that this tax, surtax, wheel tax is for local roads only. That doesn't that does not mean, it cannot be used for matching grants for an Emerson Avenue project, because Emerson Avenue is not a local road.
Correct, well,
But
Yeah,
that was a
it is.
state grant, that was a
was a
federal,
federal
it was a, but I still want to make it clear that it cannot be, it's for local roads only. It does not
Local roads in
include
the city of Beech
Albany, Sherman, Churchman, or Emerson.
I don't, yeah,
But I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that it's for local roads
for
only.
local roads,
Just
roads
if-
inside the
just-
city of
just
Beech
in
Grove,
case
that's
there's
correct.
any confusion, yeah, and it cannot be used for
don't-
matches.
Excludes,
Uh,
doesn't exclude thoroughphairs, so I believe if we
Yeah.
wanted to use it
I
on
think
like
you could. I don't
Albany, you
think it
could.
excludes that.
There's a giant pothole.
But I
so-
think the council, we need to make it clear that if we impose this, that we want that for local roads only. We can
There
put
are,
that
we're
in.
not gonna, it won't be used on any roads outside the city of Beech Grove.
But she's asking specifically
Yeah, I-
Indianapolis controlled roads that run through Beech Grove
And they should be taken care of.
by
Any-
Indy.
And I would, can I just add
Yeah.
some numbers real quick? I know that's a separate concern I think some of the council has, and the amount of matching dollars we have to do for that grant is in the millions. We get $250,000 a year as it stands in wheel tax, 240-ish to 260,000, depending on how old the cars are on the road. The average car is 13 years old in Indiana, so we're not getting millions upon millions of dollars. We are, if we apply for grants, we get over 2 million. We've gotten over $2 million in grants, but year over year, the wheel tax is not enough to match any federal grant. It was just to do our
Basically, it's
road
just
work that
enough.
we've been doing.
It's just
Yeah.
enough to allow us to apply for a few $100,000 through the Community Crossings grant.
Right,
So
and
if
I
you
think
look
that's maybe what she's really kind of
so, yeah.
talking about is we want to make sure that
It's for
the money
local.
that we do raise on what we're doing, the Indianapolis is going to still take care of the thoroughfare roads that they're
That they
getting
should
their
be.
millions of dollars on, and we're not spending our little bit.
Correct, yeah, no, we will not be putting towards that. So if you look at page 2 of that document I just handed out, it has basically every award that we received from the state of Indiana for our community crossing grants, okay? So just right now, 2025, we were awarded $487,000 for a total of $2.686 million in community crossing grant funds from our gas tax that we receive. We each of us pay, right? So the state is basically saying if you don't implement your own, then you have potential to lose all access to those additional funding mechanisms to pave roads. So if you turn over to the next page, it kind of lists out all the roads that have been reconstructed because of the Community Crossing Grant Program. A total of 8.09 miles in the city of Beech Grove. Like you go look at 25. So that's what we're doing right now. Alton Street from 13th to Emerson Avenue. 4th Avenue from Albany to Bethel. 6th Avenue from Albany to Bethel. And Detroit Street from 13th to Beechwood. For a total of 1.48 miles of road. And then the year before, all the roads and outlined what we were able to reconstruct because of the Community Crossings Grant funds.
So just to be
Yes, sir.
very clear in my own mind, from what Liz was talking about, the money that we would pass for our wheel tax would be for local roads inside the city.
Correct.
If the county tax then goes away and we don't have to pay it, what incentive is there for them to repair the roads that they control, like Churchman and Emerson and?
Well, they're because That's a great question. My guess is they would still get gas tax, and still, because when you apply for that, it's based off the lane miles, or the miles that you get, basically, is how they decide how much gas tax you get. Okay, it's based off lane mileage. So I'm assuming they would still apply for that, and use that in their totals. But for incentive-wise, I guess because it is under their control, unless they want to give control back to us, which I don't think they would. I don't know if we want control over those roads, right? Because there's some major roads, but yeah. So I don't know what their incentive would be.
Well, according to, if you just look it up, and Tim might be able to answer this, if you just look up who's responsible for Emerson Avenue, it's
Oh, yeah.
clearly Indianapolis DPW. It's clearly Indianapolis DPW. So from, the beginning to where it ends on South Emerson. So, there's
Yeah,
a
well, I
law,
guess-
legislation somewhere that states that
Well,
already.
for excluded cities, it does say that.
Yeah.
It says all thoroughfares are under the control of Indianapolis. That's correct.
Well, I like the word you use, potential, as far as the gas tax. The first municipality that's not going to get a gas tax because they don't pass this, they're going to end up in a lawsuit over it. They're not going to let, money that was paid in from our citizens towards the gas tax, they have every right to get that.
The state statute says otherwise, Dan.
Well,
So,
You
and
know-
that's what all this is based on. Basically, they're saying because of that, and it's written in the law. So your state legislator, they're the ones who are putting it back on the local municipalities to implement these fees and taxes.
they're nickel diming the citizens like normal because they don't have enough money right now. They screwed up
$2 billion
and,
So the city of Lawrence, from what I understand, implemented this last year, I think. Do you have any idea what I just was curious. You don't know, do you?
Well, I can find out. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to send me an email or a text, I can
I could-
happily look into that. No, I'm not sure what their rates are. I know there've been many municipalities across the state that have implemented their own. Are you looking it up? No, okay, I'm sorry. No.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I don't know what their rate is.
I'm just curious, yeah.
Have you talked to Councilor Mascari and seen what their timeline is on that? What,
No, he mentioned that they're going to go to the $100, but he didn't know what the timeline would be. I thought it was getting presented soon, but he didn't tell me what day.
They're scheduled, the committee's scheduled to vote on June 16th.
Okay.
But then there's a time limit too.
Yes.
it's 2028, I believe.
I think it's by end of
It's by September.
It's
By September this year.
Yeah,
By September this year to take effect January 1st.
correct.
So when we go to apply for our spring distribution of community crossing grants, it has to be implemented to apply for that. So if it's not implemented or approved by September, then the state doesn't have enough time to get that implemented for our own specific municipality. So they say it has to be September in order to guarantee revenues coming January 1st.
Looks like
And
Lawrence is the same as us.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
that's at the minimum then. And
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
a lot of municipalities are going with the minimum, but
Yeah.
you do have the option to do as much as you like. But I don't know how, I don't assume many municipalities are going to go much above that, if any.
Okay. Well, thanks for the clarification, because that's exactly what I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure.
And it's hard because, like I said, no one wants to add taxes or additional fees. But that was my hesitation last year because I thought, well, you can't double tax our people. That is not fair to the citizens of Beech Grove to get a double taxation. So I was very happy. AIM worked very hard in the last few
Yeah.
months to work with the state legislator to get them to remove that and add that saying basically you cannot double tax. So I was very happy with that because I was very hesitant about having to do this for the residents of Beech Grove. But basically, it's going to take it from them, and we'll be the person.
So with the break of the gas tax that we have now, so what's to keep, I'm just
yeah,
being me, but
You're fine.
what's keeping the state legislature at the next session to come back and say, oops, we're gonna have to change it again?
and they could.
It's
and
just
they,
a shell game, and it's a bait and switch.
and,
It's a
and
shell
they could,
game.
and they could come
It's
back
just
and
a
say
bait and
that.
switch.
But we can't take that gamble because for the next legislative
I-
session, because if we don't
Yeah.
take the initiative and implement this, we can always take it back. We have to implement it because as of right now, it says we have to come January if we want to do some paving in 2027, which I'm assuming our residents would like us to do. So
So basically, the state they wanted to look good. I mean, that's kind of what SB1 was about anyway. They wanted to look good, and they made the burden upon the cities
They did.
to figure it out and to cut any waste that we can and really tighten the belts. And unfortunately, not everybody has a lot of notches on the belt to tighten. So.
And
And
that's, this is just the first round. So I mean, we're
Correct.
gonna have to talk about local
Local
income
income
tax
tax.
at some point because again, they're gonna save $300 on your property taxes,
Right.
which is more. Did I understand people want some property tax relief? But basically now they're gonna put it back on us and say, hey, you have to implement a local income tax now on your people.
School
to
referendum?
offset School referendum, all the things. Yes. So
And let's just
it's gonna
keep
be tough.
we'll keep giving more voucher money to
Yeah.
private schools. That's just a way out of the problem.
Franklin also does 25, just.
Franklin does too.
Franklin, then towns, I think, have less, but Ellettsville did 30.
So everybody that's doing this, I'm gonna ask just because I don't like the wording myself, but 38.15 subsection B, where it talks about the wheel tax fund and it being a non-reverting fund. So that means that it would never go away. We could increase it, but it would never go away.
You asked, but I misunderstood your question
Okay.
earlier. So we have a couple non-reverting funds. We have the parks non-reverting. Essentially, any money that goes into a non-reverting fund always stays in that fund to be used for its intended purposes. So like the general fund's reverting, so everything that we get into the general fund at the end of the year just goes back into the pot and then gets rebudgeted, essentially. So that having a non-reverting fund, makes sure that those funds can't be used for anything else other than what people are getting taxed for.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So I mean, I guess,
what
like-
happens if they make some fixes with SB1? The things get around a little bit better, and
You could pass a resolution, like how we
Okay.
do to
Okay.
transfer it from fund to fund. You could
Okay.
do that.
That
It's
was
not
my question.
permanently like never be
To get
untouchable.
rid of
Wonderful.
the fund or to.
Yeah.
wonderful. I just wanted
Yeah.
that clarification with
So it-
the
yeah.
wording. So.
Correct. So it'd be similar to like NVH fund, LRS fund. So we receive money each year for those.
For
and
public
they stay
safety.
there. So at the end of the year, if we have $5 left, that rolls over and it stays in that fund. It can't go to any other one, as the clerk treasurer mentioned. It can't go elsewhere. It has to
It'd be
stay
the same
there.
process as like how we do public safety at the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not,
I do.
Did we have public comment?
Yeah, I guess I do need to. I guess I never opened up the public hearing, so let's open up a public hearing.
Real quick,
Yes.
so who determines then what the amount will be on these other vehicles?
No, the 40.
Yeah,
It's
We-
based on their
We did.
class.
Yeah, it's based.
okay,
So the $40 rate basically
Yeah.
versus a personal vehicle versus a commercial vehicle.
yeah,
That would be, I'm assuming the state or the PND based off those classifications that are
I
listed there.
got you, okay.
However, they type it in their system, it probably automatically comes out. So,
Okay,
So really with the time frame we have too, we could table this until next month and see what the city council of Indianapolis.
we're just, I'm just saying first reading only. So
Okay.
only first, we'll set
Okay.
second, and third reading to do later. So if we can start the process, that'd be helpful. So then we can get to the
Yes.
state and go from there. So if that's the case, we're going to go ahead and open a public hearing for General Ordinance Number 3, 2026 for the wheel tax. Did anybody sign up for public comment on that, sir?
No, not on that not on that issue.
Okay. Anybody here would like to speak on the wheel tax?
Do we have to make a motion to open the public hearing?
No, you'd have to
Okay.
state that you
Just have
opened
to
it.
say
All right.
Anybody here would like to speak on the wheel tax? Let's see. I'd like to close the public hearing for the General Ordinance Number 3, 2026 wheel tax. Public hearing is now closed. So we've had some discussion about it. So if there are any other questions or comments, otherwise, you have something to answer.
how do we find out if the BMV is gonna charge an admin fee?
I can ask around and see if we know that, but I don't know. I don't know who decides that. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's.
I wonder if
like-
Indianapolis might have that in the.
But we can work on that for the next month.
I would just be really curious to see. I wouldn't think it'd be that much, but
Yeah. You never know.
a few dollars,
It does that. Yeah, it adds up for sure.
yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, entertain a motion to approve General Ordinance Number 3, 2026 on first reading only.
I'd like to
said
make
motion.
a motion to table it till next meeting, see what Indianapolis does.
I would like to remind the council you can amend after a first reading as well, so, just as a reminder.
Anything?
I'll
Make
second the
sense.
motion to table it until next month, till we find out.
So there's a motion, a second to table for the July 6th meeting. We'll start with, all those in favor, so we'll start with my, all right.
No,
Council-
no, not in favor.
Not in favor.
Councilman Grant.
In favor.
Not in favor.
Not in favor.
In favor.
Not in favor.
That motion fails. Is that 5-2? Entertain a motion to approve general ordinance number 3, 2026 on first reading only this evening.
I make said motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Second, we'll start again on my far right.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll abstain. I don't have enough information to vote on this tonight.
Yes.
Okay. So, general ordinance number 3, 2026 passes on first reading only by a vote of 6-0 with one abstain from Councilor, I'm sorry,
511.
5-1-1. A no from Council Himmelgarn and abstain from Council McMillan. This will be heard on second and third reading in July. Up next, we have public hearing number 2, a rezone request for 4123 Cashard Avenue. So I know you guys, we heard this probably a year ago to have it rezoned. We will officially open up the public hearing, and I'll refer to the clerk treasurer to read the rules of procedure into the record.
Alrighty. Yeah, this is for zoning case 2026, zone-044. All right, the rules of procedure. The procedures of this hearing are governed by the council's rules of procedure. Petitioners and persons appearing in support of the case being heard shall have a maximum of 15 minutes for the presentation of evidence, statements, and arguments in support of the petition. Any person that desires to speak and provide testimony during today's hearing must first complete the sign-in slip located on the back on the table in the room. The slip must be presented to the council before you provide your testimony. Remonstrators and persons appearing in opposition to the petition shall have a maximum of 15 minutes for the presentation of evidence, statements, and arguments in opposition to the petition. Staff will then present the administrator's comments regarding the petition. The petitioner will then be allowed 5 minutes for rebuttal and a summation of the case. Rebuttal must be limited to the subject matter of the initial presentations. Remonstrators will be allowed 5 minutes for rebuttal for the petitioner's rebuttal of evidence and a brief closing statement. No further evidence, statements, or arguments will be heard unless it is at the discretion of the council. Please limit your testimony and evidence to the matters covered in the statutory requirements, which must be met for the council to grant a zoning variance, excuse me. If the petitioners have failed to comply with all notice requirements as stipulated by the council's rules of procedure, including posting of the notice placard on the subject property at least 23 days prior to the hearing, the council may continue the petition. Anyone at this hearing who thinks complete and proper notices have not been given and would like the petition continued due to lack of proper notice must bring this matter to the council's attention at the beginning of the hearing. The council may impose various conditions as amendments before reaching a decision on certain petitions. These conditions are an integral part of the council decision and must be met for a granted rezone to be valid. Every decision of the Beech Grove Common Council shall be subject to judicial review. Such petition for judicial review shall be presented to the court within 30 days after the decision of this council. Please be courteous and orderly at all times, and please be sure all cell phone ringers are turned off. Is there anyone in the audience that has any questions about our procedures? Okay, none seen. If anyone plans to speak today, or you might be called upon to speak, please stand. Okay. And raise your right hand for me. All right. Do you swear to tell the truth? This is for the rezone. You all don't have to stand. If you'd like to speak,
If you're going to
yeah.
speak in regard to the rezone,
If
You all
you're-
can swear to tell the truth if you'd like, but you don't need to. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right. Thank you. All right, at this time, we call the petitioner forward. You will have 15 minutes. Please state your name and then whatever you would like the council to know.
My name is Steve Kemp. My partner and I, Dusty Toffolo, run PhotoScan, which has been in Beech Grove for about 40 years. We are currently located behind the property that we're looking to build on Elmwood Avenue in the office complex. So this was just something that we just bought the company a couple of years ago. The previous owner stated that one of the smart things that he should have done would have been build a property. So that's what we're looking to do. It's on Cashard Avenue. If you're familiar with that street, there are already 2 warehouses on it. We're looking to build something a little smaller than actually is there. Our goal with the property is we do cameras, so industrial camera installs. Basically, we show up in the morning, get our stuff together, and leave. So, I know Michael, I was working with Indianapolis and Michael here, recommended that we kind of do another, I know you saw this last year, but we're doing another one to kind of fit more what we're looking to do, which is meet all requests, property line easements, all that stuff, parking spots. So our structure, just like I said, is going to be cameras. We do 5 days a week, show up in the morning, get out on the road, get our work done. The back half, as we rode in there, is going to be another friend of ours, and we're all firefighters for the city of Indianapolis. He runs a softball, baseball training complex. So on average, he has, I know this time of year, he has 5 to 8 athletes there, 2 to 3 coaches at most. They do training in the evening, sometimes on the weekends. So all that, for the most part, will be inside. I guess I would entertain questions. I don't know if I can tell you a whole lot more. That's about it.
How long have you owned this property, Steve?
We bought it last year, I want to say, so maybe October, November.
Okay, was the shed that was on there, was it still standing when you bought the property? or-
Yes.
It was, so you guys demolished it?
We cleaned up the property as far as took the concrete out from the previous house. That I don't know, it had been down for 10 years maybe.
Yeah, it's been down for
And
a while.
yeah, we took the shed down first thing. Tried to clean up the property as best as possible.
Okay.
And that's the goal is we're trying to get it as close to the other warehouse as possible to give the space between us and the house. We've talked to the homeowners there. We did all the, of course, handing out stuff, mailing stuff. So
This is your proposed building here?
yes, you should have that in front of you. I'm not sure exactly how that process works.
Yeah, I couldn't really see too many of the
You
measurements.
can't
I was
get the
trying to,
dimensions, but
I was really trying to see the dimensions, you
It's
know.
40
of
by
what it
120,
was.
65,000 square foot. It's
Yeah.
a one-story metal structure.
Yeah, I was curious about the parking lot. Looks like runs along the side of the existing home.
No, the parking technically will be in the front of the structure. Is the
Okay.
goal. Since we only have 4 employees, we have 2 owners and 2 employees for the photo scan. We park in front.
Okay.
4 cars at most is all we ever have. Nobody visits. We don't really do meetings there as far as other people coming in. We go out to meet
Okay.
other people. And then we have a concrete going down the side of the structure, which would offer more parking if needed.
That's what I was looking at. I was just curious how much of a buffer there was between the edge of that and the driveway of the neighbor.
I want to say that's 30 or 40 foot. That's our goal, like I said, is to push it all the way up towards away from the house.
Right.
So
you're
that we don't
going
get-
back towards the business over on the other
Yes,
side.
that's our goal. And then parking wise, the mayor actually asked me about the parking. For the training in the evening when we have more cars, they actually have a pretty hard and fast road. He's located in Beech Grove already also. They drop off and pick up only. He doesn't want parents there in the facility so they're basically not going to be parking there. Is the goal.
Okay. Will any of it on that side, since you are pushing that side, you have a drainage swell, it looks like that runs all the way to the back of the lot there. It takes it looks like a lot of the water from the existing business there and pushes it back. Is that something, and this is a little bit more for Michael to answer, will that have to be cut deeper, do any kind of an under drain or anything like that to take more of this water?
If needed, we'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible, but I don't know the answer to that question.
It would be presented to Westler and they would do a study to make sure that it accounts for all of that drainage. So anytime you do a new build, they'll come in and have inspection fees, like what we did over there with the plumbing school. They'll come.
Right. I didn't know how far we had went with this so far.
Yeah.
Looks like pretty far. So.
what were those dimensions again of that building?
40 by 120.
40 by 120.
My question was gonna be, and I think you answered it already, the employee numbers. So is there potential for having more employees there, hiring more people need, just for local
We'd like to, but right
employment?
now, no.
Okay.
We're not all that great at the business. We're just all right. So
Well, maybe
we stay
some-
consistent. We're blue collar. We're firefighters, so we just we go out and work and try to get the contracts we can and do a good job. That's all we do.
So really won't be no noise or nothing in there.
No, and that was
low
part of
traffic.
why we restructured it to where we are. We do no construction on site. So,
The
Just things
last
of the
time
bat.
you had some remonstrators against this property. Is there any this time?
When his time is up, we'll call them.
I didn't see anybody else sign up. I've talked to the neighbor next to us, the house, and he didn't express a lot of disinterest in it or anger towards me. He's a nice guy, so.
He is a
Well,
nice guy.
the last
It was
time,
his wife, but
the main
I don't know anything about that.
the last time the main concern was anything outside of the building.
And we've stipulated that there won't be.
Okay.
And if anything happens outside, we'll get permission from everybody. But the plan right now is training it in the summertime. We're going to be temperature controlled, so it's easier just to be in there, just inside. So.
And I only say that because at the last hearing, she was here and she did state that he's a really nice guy and never said anything bad, but that's why she was here.
It's kind of the direction the street is going.
It is, you know, unfortunately, but there's what, is it 3 or 4 houses still there?
3 across the street. I mean, it depends on how you count the ones on.
I was kind of talking on the same side of the street or where
Yeah,
you're
3 on
at.
our side of the street.
Yeah. The other side, it's already, I mean, it's just a parking lot for Continental, I believe. All right.
Yeah, he's already they're trying to build a parking lot across the street from us.
Right, yeah.
Which would, I don't know how they're gonna structure that, but that might even alleviate parking fears also.
Yeah.
Because the only time we're gonna have a parking issue would be in the evening. So, and we want to be respectful, so whatever everybody wants.
Right.
No blocking driveways, but we just don't plan on having that because we just don't have that many people.
Sure.
So,
Thank you.
okay.
And appreciate you all, you know, firefighters.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
All right, are there any remonstrators to the petition here? All right, thank you. This time we'll call staff.
Absolutely. Thank you very much to the council. Thank you to the petitioner as well for your comments and for your service through IFD. This is the first of 2 separate hearings related to this petition that will be taking place just this week, actually. So tonight, there's a hearing specifically related to rezoning of this parcel from the I-1 designation to C3. There also is a different and separate petition going forward on Wednesday related to minor variances to allow for the development of the site. Tonight, we're strictly considering the rezoning of the site from industrial to commercial. This lot has a width of 80 feet. It had contained a single-family home for decades, similar to the areas directly to the south where 3 or 4 homes do still exist. That house was demolished in 2013, and the lot is currently undeveloped. Surrounding land uses are residential to the south along that remaining corridor, but industrial otherwise on each of the surrounding 3 sides. If you were on the council in early 2025, as I believe a good portion of you were, you remember the site was rezoned to the I-1 district. That's a light industrial designation. Prior to that, it had been zoned D3, which is a residential designation. At that time, our staff had recommended denial of that request, given the narrow width of the lot, as well as the proximity to residential uses to the south. That report generated back in, I think it was March of 2025, it noted that any new construction at the site would be impossible without the grant of the variance. The reason for that is because the I-1 zoning district requires 30 feet of separation to the north, as well as 50 feet of separation to the south because there are homes there. Given that the lot has a width of only 80 feet, that would have allowed for 0 feet of buildable width at the site. That variance, or that rezoning was granted. The property changed ownership to the current group, who is now seeking to develop the site with a new building. They made an application for variances under the petition number 2026 DVB-001. The application was initially made in April because of that impossibility to develop a site with anything new due to the restrictive setbacks imposed by the I-1 zoning district. Staff reviewed that initial filing and then recommended to them that in addition to seeking some remaining variances, that they also rezoned the site to the C3 zoning designation. C3 is a low to medium intensity commercial zone that wouldn't be industrial or residential, would sort of be a buffer, a transition in between existing industrial and remaining residential. Our staff feels that this would be the best fit for the proposed uses of the building, which as mentioned would be a surveillance contractor in the front and then a sports instruction facility within the rear. We also feel this would be an appropriate sort of step down or buffer between industrial and residential areas. We also feel that this would remove the need for variances related to the setback of the building, since C3 would have less restrictive setback requirements than the I1 zoning district. Staff will note that the comprehensive plan for Marion County does recommend that this property be developed for light industrial uses. Those designations are sort of based on block or neighborhood context as opposed to the size of the individual lot. So even though this is a fairly industrialized area of Beech Grove, a lot of this size probably would not be able to support a standalone light industrial type use. Staff is supportive of the request to change this site zoning to C3. It was our suggestion. We also plan to support remaining variances that will be requested on Wednesday, subject to a couple commitments that we've previously discussed with the petitioner. That'll be up to the BZA's discretion on Wednesday afternoon, if you feel like tuning in, but not a decision for tonight's hearing. Tonight's question is if C3 zoning is appropriate for this parcel. We feel that this property is unlikely to be developed residentially, given all the industrial use nearby, and full industrial zoning, as discussed, creates complications and intensity near residential areas that wouldn't be desirable. We feel this would be a compromise, makes development of the site more feasible. It's a creative solution to allow for productive use while also respecting requirements of buffering to the south, and the 23 feet between the building and the property line does help. We've also discussed the possibility of having shrubs placed there, which is one of the commitments we're recommending as part of our support for the variance. Grant of that variance would also be tied to the submitted plan of operation, which does make explicit that the sports instruction use would be via drop-off and pickup only, which would hopefully help alleviate some parking concerns. And but it would also be limited to indoor use, which should help with proximity to residential and any negative externalities of noise that might result. For those reasons, we recommend approval. I'm happy to answer questions that the council might have.
My question is, how much of this will be done outside? Because I still know that there's neighbors around there and so forth.
So I don't know that I included the submitted plan of operation in this staff report. They did submit it along with the application for Wednesday, and I believe that plan of operation does explicitly say that operations would be indoor only for the baseball use. So not.
That was the stipulation.
Yes, that was the original plan of operation did not mention that. Our staff raised it as a concern, and then they amended that to address a similar concern to what you have.
So would they agree to do that now? I mean, my vote determines which way. The last time I voted for it, but, and that's because they agreed not to do anything outside.
Yes, sir.
Our business doesn't operate outside?
Yeah, we don't operate outside as far as Photoscan goes. Steve Russell, who does Indy Clutch now, he's actually right here on Emerson and 3308 South Emerson.
Yeah.
It's a part, they don't do anything outside. I mean, it's a parking lot, so everything's done indoors.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
everything will be done inside.
Right. The C3 zoning district doesn't allow for outdoor operations. It also doesn't allow for indoor recreation. Typically, we look at it as like a gym use, which is C4 and above. That's something they're asking permission for on Wednesday. So it could be enshrined as a commitment if the council felt so led, but it wouldn't be allowed by right within the district anyway. And if it were to happen without, permitting or licensure, it could be subject to a violation.
Is there any further questions for staff?
Yeah, one more. This is for Mr. Kemp again.
Actually, I'll call him up then.
Okay.
Okay, but are there any other questions for staff? If not, we'll let the petitioner come back up. Okay, yeah. And if anyone else would like to speak, just make sure you come to the podium, if you would. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my biggest question really is just because of the last person that came, petition, changed the zoning, we granted it, is there any chance that you will not be, if you get granted this, that you will not build and you'll resell the property to somebody else that'll
We
do
have the building
something?
bought. My partner's over there mad at me. He's staring at me right now. So
Okay.
the structure's purchased.
Okay.
Right here's the contractor ready to start work this week.
Okay.
We've talked to Paul Summers, and he's assured us that as fast as possible he's going to, and properly of course, but
Yeah, okay.
he's ready to go. So
Okay, wonderful.
we're hoping by August.
I'd hate to see it switch hands again and something else happen.
No,
with it.
we
That's
want to be here. We tried to buy
wonderful.
a property over here actually, so we like Beech Grove. We want to be here.
Wonderful.
So actually, that's going to improve the property value of that area as far as benefit to the city. So
I'm not an expert on that. I would hope so. I would
guess
argue it
so.
does, but
I
I'll
would
agree
guess
with
so. I would guess. Sounds, makes sense that it would.
you. Okay, I hope so. That's our goal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Dusty Toffolo, do you want to speak? You spoke in favor of the petition?
Just real fast, yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dusty Toffolo. I'm the co-owner of, it's actually called T&K Investments, but I just wanted to give you guys a real quick background. PhotoScan was my uncle's company. He started it 40 years ago. They pretty much did everything around here as far as stuff goes. I basically took it over 2 years ago, mainly to kind of give him a retirement. My dad worked there for years. He was a fireman for 36 years as well. I just wanted to state what, we really hope it works because, we bought the property assuming that, yeah, we could put a little dinky small building on it. Just a little background real quick. Mr. Russell down here, a lot of these buildings are owned by big corporate, places. They doubled our rent, they switched owners where we've been at for 40 years at 5508 Elmwood Avenue. His rent got doubled, and we're basically just, small town, business guys or whatever that are trying to do good for the community as well as multiple families and organizations and stuff. And I just wanted to state that as best as possible before you guys vote. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Russell?
no, sir.
Okay. Very well.
Alrighty, if there are no further questions for either staff or the petitioner, you are welcome to discuss and vote.
I have no questions.
I'm fine.
All right, at this point, yeah, if there's no more discussion, someone is welcome to make a motion.
I think I'd make a motion approving the zoning switch to C3.
And I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? None seen. All right, the rezone request passes 7-0.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, yep.
All right, and then we will, yeah, then we'll
One
see you
more
on
hurdle
see you on
this week.
Wednesday.
Yep.
Congratulations, thank you. Thank you, council. That concludes our public hearings for tonight. Up next are committee reports. Up first is the RDC. You heard from President Matthew Kochever. He is not able to be here. He injured himself, so he's not here this evening. But he did send over the monthly report for May of 2026. Lots of information there about tax pass-through, tip allocation. But then also they did enter into an agreement with professional service agreement with Civitas to provide redevelopment / economic development services and consulting for the RDC. So that contract will work for the rest of the year and hopefully help with implement this plan that that the city approved earlier this year. So we're excited for that. If you have any other questions for that, please reach out to Matthew or any members of the Redevelopment Commission. Up next is financial report. Clerk Stratton.
Alrighty, good evening.
Good evening.
Property taxes were collected last month, and we expect to receive our distribution from the state by the end of the month, and those amounts will be reported at the next council meeting. Permit fee review. One of my priorities over the next several months will be reviewing the city's current permit fee schedule with our building commissioner. As we've started looking at the fees currently on the books, it has become clear that some have not been updated in quite some time and may no longer be accurately reflecting the cost of providing these services. After completing this review and discussing potential changes with the building commissioner and the mayor, I plan to bring proposed amendments to the permit fee schedule before the council for your consideration prior to the end of the year. Current bank and fund balances. The bank account balances are listed below as of June 1st, 2026. These totals do not include all claims that were approved earlier this evening. And as a reminder, as it got brought up before the meeting as well, this is one of the 2 times per year that the general fund is listed in the negative until we get our share of property taxes. This does not mean we have negative money, it's just the bookkeeping. Bank accounts. City Corporation, $5,074,763.97. Utility bank account, $2,213,357.70. Criminal Investigation Fund, bank account, $374,875.54. And the RDC General Fund bank account, $2,059,683.49. The general fund is at negative $992,694.58. Sewage Utility Fund, $804,930.52, and the Stormwater Utility Fund is at $876,841.34. Respectfully submitted, Samantha Stratton, Clerk Treasurer.
Any questions for the clerk treasurer?
Nope.
Nope. Up next are reading minutes and approval. You had common council meeting minutes dated May 4th, 2026. Open for comment or discussion. None seen. If not, I entertain a motion to approve the common council meeting minutes dated May 4th, 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the council minutes, May 4th, 2026.
Second.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Up next, we have public comments. Craig?
Yes. We have several tonight, so please keep your comments to under 3 minutes. We appreciate it. Lisa Hutchison is the first one.
I'm used to 3 minutes testifying at the State House, so I guess
Oh.
right. Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity
Good
to
evening.
speak. I'm Lisa Hutchison. I'm the Vice President of Prevention and Policy at Mental Health Merit of Indiana. And I've been working in substance use prevention and mental health promotion for about 30 years. And I'm here to offer some comments regarding the proposed DORA. If you decide to move ahead, these are just some evidence-based practices that would be beneficial to your policy and to your community if you decide to implement. I understand the intent behind a DORA. I live in Lebanon, and our DORA recently was implemented just like last week. And I met with them beforehand to talk about these same concerns. And the goals are similar. We want to support local restaurants and retailers, encourage downtown activity, and create more vibrant community spaces. And those are really important goals. And I appreciate the desire to strengthen local businesses and create welcoming public spaces for visitors and residents. At the same time, I encourage you to proceed carefully and consider the possible unintended consequences. Expanding public alcohol consumption affects more than economic activity. It can also impact public safety, family-friendly environments, people in recovery, individuals with behavioral health or substance use challenges, residents, and young people who spend time in the community. For some community members, a DORA may make public spaces feel less welcoming or less safe. It may increase concerns about impaired driving, disorderly conduct, litter, underage access, alcohol-related incidents, or added demands on law enforcement, EMS, and local businesses. It may also normalize alcohol use in shared public spaces for ways that can be difficult for people in recovery, families with children, or just residents who prefer alcohol-free community events. I would also encourage you to consider the proximity of nearby college students. I know the University of Indianapolis is close by, and those young people also come here to enjoy your community. If you choose to move forward, I respectfully encourage you to include strong safeguards and best practices. First, you need to establish clear boundaries, hours of operation, visible signage, so residents and visitors know exactly where alcohol is permitted and where it is not. I would also encourage public health signage reminding people that alcohol should not be consumed if you are pregnant, or that anyone under 21 cannot consume alcohol. And maybe even include numbers for community resources for treatment. Second, require designated DORA cups or containers, preferably not glass ones, along with vendor training, clear participation rules, and meaningful consequences for violations. Third, build in public safety and behavioral health protections. That should include coordination with law enforcement, EMS, local treatment providers, recovery organizations, neighborhood groups, and community coalitions. A comprehensive safety plan is necessary to ensure an effective DORA. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Richard Compton.
Quickly, can someone share with me the positive side of this free carry, or why we're doing this?
There isn't one.
Sir?
To me, there isn't one.
Increased foot traffic for the businesses.
Increased traffic for the businesses. Very well. I own a residence in this community. I don't live there, but my son does. I work with the school in this community. I work with the Drug Free Coalition in this community. I long for Kroger, Standard, Beals, Herbs, Iversons, and all those places that used to exist. But they're gone, and I recognize that. I got to ask myself, what's the value of this? With the Drug Free Coalition I got involved with through the school, I have mixed emotions about that program. It's very rewarding on one side. It's very depressing on another. I learned way too much. Am I going to leave it? No. But it's a very valuable program, and I've learned a lot. And again, more than I wanted. At Beech Grove High School, while assisting my son in 2017 and 18 with the track and field program with the girls and boys, we had 28 and 17, 55 and 18. Rule number 1, don't touch the children. Rule number 2, don't put a child in your car. It's 9 o'clock, a mother didn't show up, and I've got a young lady there about 15 or 16 years old. What do? I put her in the truck. I pulled up in front of her home. I said, go get your mother or father. Oh, I can't do that, Coach. Well, sure you can. Well, what do you want to talk to them about? I want to explain to them why an old man's got their 15-year-old daughter in my vehicle, for starters. Oh, I can't do that. We had another set of twins. One ran track. They got scholastic scholarships in 2018. They didn't live with their parents in Beech Grove. They lived with friends. And I can go on with some other stories there. I'm at the Greenwood Christian High School basketball game. My friend who had a grandson playing, and hopefully this will make sense to you. He has a grandson playing, and he'd coached 35 years at Greenwood, and he is really ragging on the referees. They're high school referees, come on, you know? And then my friend Dick, he's ragging on them. Well, a gentleman sitting next to me, his child plays for the other team. So I went to put my hand, peripheral vision, on his hands, and as I did, he moved his hands, and I know what a gun feels like under a t-shirt. Do you ever really know who you're beside? I'm at the Speedrome Saturday night. Girl kept rubbing her leg, and I looked, and her 5-inch switchblade had come open inside of her cowboy boot. I don't know if she frequents Beech Grove or not. I'm not saying I had a problem with the switchblade. I'm not saying I had a problem with the gun. You never know who you're sitting next to or who you're driving next to. Let's talk about the...
It's been 30
You have
minutes.
30 seconds.
Sir?
You have 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Recently, point of privilege, I'd like to add just 30 seconds to that. We chased this almighty dollar. We got a apartment complex in this city, and I'm sure at the time it made perfect sense to have that built. And I'm all about the people that need help. We paid a dear price for that apartment project recently, and I think the council all knows what I'm referring to. I don't feel comfortable with the Beech Grove Police Department driving up and down Main Street at noon, or anywhere else for that matter. Look at the Greenwood Mall at the food court. We're in a dangerous place. If we're talking about bringing people in here, I don't think they're going to be from Carmel or Zionsville. Where are they going to be from? I think I know where they're going to be from. It's a tough job on the east side, trust me. And we're on the east side. I thank you. I would sincerely hope that we don't go down as a party town, because you can carry a drink up and down the street. And those kind of people we don't need. And trust me, nobody drank more on Main Street than I did back in the day. I did. Thank you. Thank the council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John Jones.
Good evening, members of the City Council.
Good evening.
My name is John Jones. I'm a resident here of Beech Grove, Indiana. I'm standing before you tonight because our City Council is faced with a choice that will fundamentally alter the character of our community. We are being asked to approve the designated outdoor refreshment area, Adora, and we are being asked to turn our downtown sidewalks and our local park into open-air bars. Our town boasts that we are a family-friendly environment. We pride ourselves on being safe, wholesome place to raise children. But if we pass this ordinance, we are actively deciding that the ability to consume alcohol on a public sidewalk or our local parks takes priority over families' right to go downtown or enjoy our park community events without witnessing public intoxication. We are told that DORA will bring economic growth, but at what cost? I want to speak directly to the issue of community rights. As a citizen, taxpayer, and parent, I have the right to enjoy our public spaces. I have the right to take my children downtown to get ice cream or to push them on swings in our local park without having to navigate around groups of people drinking alcohol. We allow public drinking in the very places they are designed for families, and we are effectively telling families that these spaces are no longer primarily for them. We are infringing upon their right of sober majority to enjoy peace, safety, and a clean environment. If you think this won't change the dynamic of our town, look at the reality of what DORA brings. It brings public intoxication, increased litter from the form of thousands of plastic cups tossed on our grass, an extra burden on our local police force, who will now have to police behaviors across city blocks rather than inside the bounded establishments. Local businesses can sell alcohol safely indoors right now. They do not need to use our public sidewalks and our parks. We do not have to be the guinea pig for this experiment. Other communities across the country have rushed into creating open container districts only to face immediate buyer's remorse. Towns had to scale back heavily, penalize, or completely rescind these laws due to a spike in rowdy behavior, noise complaints, public urination, and the destruction of the very family-friendly atmosphere that made people want to live here in the first place. If we lose our reputation as a family-friendly town, we cannot buy it back. Let's keep alcohol inside the establishments that are already licensed to serve it. Let's keep our parks and our sidewalks safe, clean, and truly open to everyone. Do I still have 30 seconds?
You do.
Okay. Milford, Ohio, after implementing DORA, the city had to completely overhaul and restrict its rules, cutting back hours and expanding the police oversight because residents complained heavily about rowdy behavior, noise, and people wandering into family areas with open containers. Tragedy of the commons. Many cities that implemented these rules during the pandemic as a temporary economic lifeline have found that the long-term cost of policing, cleaning up these specialized plastic DORA cups, and dealing with vandalism outweigh the minor tax revenue gained. Please vote no on the DORA ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Diana Hendricks.
Good evening.
Hello.
Thank you for letting me come up and represent the Beech Grove Comprehensive Drug-Free Coalition. A lot of what I was going to say has been said, so I will not repeat. There are just a few things that I want to point out. First, I want to make sure that everybody get a copy of the document that I had sent.
Yeah.
I sent it by email, and I assume you said that you didn't get it.
I think it was handed out at the.
I handed it out, but I don't know, did I get you one?
Did you get one, Michael?
I got one on email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, great, then everybody should have one. There's just a couple of things I want to point out. One, I just want to say that, talk about the Beech Grove Drug-Free Coalition for a minute to let you know our vision, our mission, our goals, and who we are and what we are doing and why we're not in complete agreement that the DORA should happen. Beech Grove Comprehensive Drug-Free Coalition envisions a healthy community where you choose not to use alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. Our vision is accomplished by establishing and strengthening collaboration among community partners to support efforts to reduce youth substance use disorders and addiction. Coalition partners recognize that it takes a community to keep a community healthy for the future of our youth. And we are dedicated to our primary goal of reducing youth access to risky behaviors such as substance misuse and strengthening protective factors for our youth and their families. So, in looking at that, I want to give a definition for family-friendly community. This is taken from the Cambridge Dictionary. Family-friendly describes content, places, products, or policies designed to be safe, appropriate, and welcoming for families with children. It generally indicates an environment free of profanity, violence, and adult themes, while often providing cross-generational appeal. So as has been said already, we are, since I have lived here in 2005, consider ourselves a family-friendly community. Mayor Buckley brought in Clean City, which we helped be able to get rid of syringes off of our streets. We were finding them at bus stops and different things. We got right on that, the Drug Free Coalition did. So at the Clean City Initiative, when we do the drug take back, now we also collect the syringes, which they're off our streets, trying to keep our youth safe, our community safe, right? And then our mayor now is looking at a healthy aspect, right? We've got a healthy, family-friendly, clean city. We like that reputation and we would like to keep it. The next thing I'd like to point out is I did contact, after last month's meeting, there was a lot of talk about Franklin. I did contact the city of Franklin. They said they have discussed DORA, but nothing has come of it. They enjoy their family-friendly environment. I did contact Franklin Township. The trustee said they do not have a DORA, and nor do they want one. Southport does not have a DORA. Fountain Square does not have a DORA. And with that being said, a lot of our communities around us don't have one, don't want one. They do like their family-friendly communities, just like we like ours. And it will change if we put a DORA in. Is there any questions that you might have on the document I sent out to you previously? No? Thank you still very much for letting me speak.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Megan?
Megan Pick.
Pick. Yep.
Hi everyone, my name's Megan Utterback Pick. I'm a resident of Beech Grove. My husband graduated from Beech Grove. I graduated from Roncalli High School. I'm a board certified behavior analyst and have a master's degree in ABA. I understand, behavior and how it works. Also, happy Pride Month. I meant to say that because I'm excited about it. As a pregnant person, I'm in favor of the DORA. I couldn't even benefit from it right now, but I love Beech Grove. I grew up in Decatur Township, and we didn't have a main street to walk to or to go to. And I grew up coming to Beech Grove because my family is from here. I have lots of family from Beech Grove. I think if the DORA is going to increase finances and help us bring young people and more families to Beech Grove, I think it's a great idea. I think you should vote for it. I think as a millennial parent, my husband and I are doing a lot of educating around things that we see in the moment, and if people on the sidewalk had glasses, a glass of wine or a beer, and I think those are things that we would just educate our children on. I don't think it's going to make Beech Grove a less safe place. I think there's time to educate and time to talk about these things, and time as a mom soon of two to be able to have a glass of wine and walk down my street that I really, really love in this town of Beech Grove. And I don't think that this needs to be demonized in a way that is negative. I think it could be really positive. And I think that you should vote for it. And I think I'm a great example of someone who's really investing in Beech Grove. I went to private Catholic school my whole life. All of my kids are going to Beech Grove. And so I think it's just, everyone has different opinions, and I wanted to come here to share mine tonight because it sounds a little different than everyone else's. I think it could be really good for Beech Grove. I think you should vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you.
Pam Stallard?
My name is Pam Stallard. I live at 711 Churchman in Beech Grove. I would prefer you vote no for Dora. There have been a lot of great comments here tonight. My concern mainly is the parks. I am affiliated with the Parks Board. As far as I know, I am the only one that would not like to see Dora in our parks. Recently, we closed the bridge in the park because of speeding vehicles. Rather than monitor the speeding vehicles, we just go ahead and close the bridge so that there aren't any vehicles to speed. We did this in the name of public safety because we have children running and playing in the park. All right, I understand that. In the name of public safety, we don't need speeding vehicles. In the name of public safety, we still have children running and playing in the park. We don't need alcohol being served in our parks with the children running and playing. Remember, these same people that are probably drinking are eventually going to be driving out of that park. Nobody's brought that up. Not necessarily driving, some people walk in, but there's a great probability that those drinkers are going to be driving out of the park. And just like the speeding in the park, nobody's going to monitor it. And that's of great concern to me. So I would prefer you voted no, kept alcohol out of our parks where we have children acting like children, which is fairly recklessly, but that's all part of being a child. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pam.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak?
Tom?
Tom, yes.
All right.
I don't have anything too dramatic to add. I'll just speak to the part that affects the park. The door area in the park is about 10% of the park. It has no playgrounds in it, no picnic area. It's just the field in front of the venue. It also runs for 90 minutes, the length of the show. I don't know how much most people drink in 90 minutes, but I don't think we're going to have an issue with people pounding down a bunch of beers in 90 minutes. The crowds now have been 350 to 500 people over the past 2 years. And at the end of the show, we have no ground trash to pick up. We haven't found any beer cans or wine bottles along the trail or left at night, not even in the trash cans. So we don't have a litter issue. And I think the crowd that the entertainment we offer draws is not the crowd that we're worried about. So I have no problem with the program going along.
All right, Tom, before you leave, can you just state your name?
Tom Hannah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Hendricks? Ms. Diane?
Oh, sure he did.
Was you at the last concert?
I was.
Did you personally have an incident there?
Do I need to come up?
You have to talk to the podium, yes, so we can all hear you.
Pam's short. Yes, so I wasn't going to talk on it unless it did come up, and thank you. So at the last meeting and through the wonderful presentation that you have out, which is not a business plan, but it is a presentation. It's not as thorough as what we would like to see as a business plan. They talked about the law enforcement being able to monitor. A couple of things I want to talk about here is, one, when I used to do bike-a-thons, when I managed the fitness facility at the community center in order to bring in funds to help us with the equipment and maintenance it, buy it. I was told by Rich Whitmer, who was our police chief at the time, that local law enforcement were supposed to be out minding the city, not protecting an event, not being security at an event. So I was also told the same thing by Indianapolis Police Department, because our bike-a-thon went through Indianapolis, started at the community center, went out Arlington and around and come back through. So anyway, we paid for our security. Our security actually stopped traffic at crossings and things for the bicyclists to get through. Well, Thursday during the concert, it was great. We had police officers driving up and down 15th Avenue and then parking on BB Avenue with their vehicles facing downward into the park. You can see 3 of them up there, and they were standing in front of them. I, from my house, was watching, but went down and said hi to some friends while I was visiting 2 of my friends, which we know as our past Mayor Buckley and his beautiful wife, Patty. I go, oh my goodness, it really does have a smell like someone hit a skunk, or, and Mayor Buckley goes, or it could be skunk weed. And so we sat there and we were still smelling it for a couple minutes. And then his wife said, oh, well, I guess we could look at what way the wind's blowing and figure out where it's coming from, right? So the smell went away when she said that. Well, they were right in front of us. We knew where it was. Here we have our police officers up looking down, and I love our police department, and they will tell you the coalition has worked with them. We got them police bikes to monitor the trail. We've got a system for them, an OWL system to be able to work with them with the police officers so that they don't always have to be in-house for meetings. So, and I think we got a great police force. But they are doing what, as Rich Whitmer, the Indianapolis Police Department told me, they're doing their job for our city that we pay them to do, not monitor events. Well, they're all up there. There is marijuana being smoked down in the park, and there, I also saw some alcohol. So when you do these events, just as what I was told when I did the bike-a-thon, you need to have security hired, because our police department are already overburdened. And we hear the sirens all the time here in Beach Road. They need to be able to be doing what we're paying them to do, and that's monitor our cities. That is not take care of an event. And they were only there 20 to 25% of the time. So if anything broke out, they're out doing what they're supposed to be doing. And if an event is going to happen, maybe there needs to be a higher charge. If we're going to do a DORA, maybe the consideration of a greater charge needs to be put in place so that you can hire security to monitor the DORA without putting that extra burden on our law enforcement. And that's what happened, that we saw happen at the park. And they're sitting up there and this is going on. They're listening to their radios. They're doing what they should be doing. They're wanting to monitor the city. They're wanting to take care of us and keep us safe. But the event shouldn't have been what they were responsible for doing. And these things were going on and nothing happened about it. So how would you, if you're monitoring the parameter, just like what was being done down there, the parameter where the proposed door is going to be, okay? If you're monitoring the parameters of the DORAs, then you're not really knowing what's going on inside the DORAs. And that's what we need to make sure. Underage drinking cannot happen. It just can't. We've got to make sure that doesn't happen. Socialization of alcohol in front of our young, impressionable children leads them to believe that you cannot have an event, you cannot go someplace in public or anywhere without alcohol in your hand to socialize. I saw so many families playing, dads and moms that playing with their kids, playing frisbee, running around, having fun without alcohol, and then you get into the parts where there's some of that going on. You're not going to be able to stop it. It's going to happen. And if there is marijuana being smoked, that's illegal throughout our whole state. That's not just Beech Grove. Legislation has not passed it in any capacity. And then alcohol, on the other hand, is illegal in our park, and yet it's being drunk. And several city people have told me that they know it's happening down there. Why are there not citations being given out for that? You hear, oh, the prosecutor isn't going to do anything, but you know what? It's just like if you got an employee, you keep on giving them warnings. You keep a file of it. Eventually, you're going to show proof of why they should be fired, right? If you keep on showing proof that someone has been arrested for something, then in that case, you're going to build up something where the prosecutor is going to have to take a look at that because they're repeat offenders, right? So I'm looking again at the safety. I'm speaking as Diane Hendricks from the Beech Grove Drug Free Coalition. This is nothing personal to anybody, not an attack on anybody. This is saying what we're trying to keep from our children. We're a family-friendly community, and we want our families to be able to participate, our children to be able to participate in things without feeling like they have to see alcohol. And people, when they get drunk, they do silly things, and there's no telling what could happen. And 90 minutes, I've seen people get pretty drunk in a 90-minute period to do things, so, yeah.
Thank you for the answer.
You're welcome. Is there anything else?
No, thank you for sharing that. No,
You're welcome.
Also, Mayor, I just want to note on this topic, the council, at least the email that I'm on, the council received, I just wrote it down, 9 letters of support, 3 of which were from business owners, and then 2 letters of concern, 1 of which was also from Diana Hendricks as well, just for the record.
I was actually going to read those names, if you
Okay.
don't mind. So yes, there were several letters that were sent out to the council members over the last week or so, and I'll just read who they were from.
Are these Beech Grove residents?
Residents and business owners of Beech
Yeah.
Grove, yes.
Okay, because I challenged one of them that's on there right now.
Okay, well,
Go
Lisa-
ahead.
Ms. Hutchinson
Are you talking
also
about
isn't a
next
Beech
vote
Grove
tonight?
resident either.
No,
Oh,
that wrote the letter.
okay.
Oh, also the Parks Board. I just wanted Parks Board, including
So we
everyone.
have Councilman Shandy Flicka, we have the Beech Grove Chamber of Commerce, we have Patrick Kelly, we have Jeff Mader, Morgan Lieber, Alicia Anderson, Angie Johnson, Zach Burns, Morgan, Todd and the Parks Board.
They didn't list their last name.
Yeah, they didn't list
You
their
must
last
have
name.
gotten that from the
Yeah.
email address.
Correct. So, those are some letters that we received, so, you know, in support and some against, so. Let's see,
I'm sorry, did you mention Jennifer Marks?
And Jennifer Marks,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have the whole list. I guess, yeah, there was from Jennifer Marks, I guess I don't have the whole list. Jennifer Marks was another one.
That's all that I have.
Okay. we go.
Yeah, that all
Jennifer
adds
Marks
up
was
to
another one,
11,
sorry.
yeah.
And then what Diana submitted from the Drug Free Coalition. So, public comments over. So up next is unfinished business carried over from previous meetings. So, General Ordinance number 2, 2026, DORA, is up for first reading this evening. I will defer to the clerk treasurer to read it into the record.
Alrighty, let me get to the correct page. Okay. General Ordinance number 2, 2026 is an ordinance establishing a designated outdoor refreshment areas along Main Street and within Sarah T. Bolton Park and setting forth rules and requirements for operation. Whereas Indiana Code 7.1-3-31 authorizes municipalities to establish a designated outdoor refreshment area, or DORA, within the alcoholic beverages purchased from approved permittees may be consumed in public areas. And whereas the Common Council finds that establishing a DORA along Main Street will support local businesses, activate public spaces, and enhance economic development and community engagement. And whereas the City of Beech Grove desires to define a specific geographic area and adopt reasonable regulations to ensure public safety, compliance with state law, and orderly operation, now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Beech Grove, Indiana as follows. Section 1, Establishment of New Chapter, Codification. The Beech Grove City Code is hereby amended to add a new chapter to be designated as Chapter 106, Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area. The provisions of this ordinance shall be codified within said chapter. Section 2, Establishment of Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area. The city hereby establishes a designated outdoor refreshment area in accordance with Indiana Code 7.1-3-31. Section 3, Door Number 1, Main Street Geographic Boundaries. Door Number 1 shall consist of the following area: Main Street from 8th Avenue to Emerson Avenue, including the public right-of-way, Main Street, and the alleys immediately adjacent and directly north and south of Main Street within that same span provided, however, that the premises commonly known as 103 Main Street occupied by the Beech Grove Police Department shall be excluded from and not considered part of Door Number 1. A map depicting the boundaries of Door Number 1 is attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference. The city clerk treasurer shall maintain said map and make it available for public inspection. Section 4, Dora Number 2, Sarah T. Bolton Park Geographic Boundaries. Dora Number 2 shall consist of the following area: the area located just north of the entertainment shelter within Sarah T. Bolton Park, bounded by 15th Avenue at the west, the alleyway directly north of the park area, and by the Franciscan Trail at the east. Dora Number 2 shall only be active during city-sanctioned events held within Sarah T. Bolton Park. Activation of Dora Number 2 for any event shall require prior approval by the Board of Public Works and Safety and confirmation from the Beech Grove Police Department that alcohol consumption is permitted for the specific event. All rules and requirements of this ordinance applicable to Dora Number 1 shall apply to Dora Number 2 unless otherwise modified herein. Notwithstanding 99.04 prohibited conduct of the Beech Grove City Code and any other conflicting provision of the City Code, the provisions of this section shall control within the boundaries of Dora Number 2 during its authorized days and hours of operation. A map depicting the boundaries of Dora Number 2 is attached hereto as Exhibit B and incorporated herein by reference. The city clerk treasurer shall maintain said map and make it available for public inspection. Section 5, Days and Hours of Operation. Dora Number 1 shall be in effect Thursday through Friday from 5 to 10 p.m., and Saturday from 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays from 12 to 10 p.m. between Memorial Day and Labor Day each year. Dora Number 2 shall only be active during city-sanctioned events held within Sarah T. Bolton Park between the months of May through August, and only during event hours. The Common Council may amend these hours by resolution at any time. If there is a request to amend for a specific event, this event must first be approved by the Board of Works and Safety before taken to the council for approval 60 days prior to event. Section 6, Authorized Containers. A, alcoholic beverages may only be consumed within the DORA if purchased from a participating permittee located within the DORA. This includes brick and mortar businesses as well as licensed and permitted food trucks. B, beverages must be served in a designated DORA cup that meets the following requirements. 1, clearly identifies the establishment where the beverage was purchased. 2, is distinguishable from standard drinkware. 3, complies with any branding or marking requirements adopted by the city. Such branding will be approved by the Beech Grove Police Department Chief and the Board of Public Works and Safety. Permittees will be provided with these requirements at time of application. C, no outside alcoholic beverages shall be permitted within the DORA. Section 7, participating permittees and local DORA permit. A, eligibility. Only fixed location establishments located within the DORA that hold a valid alcoholic beverage permit issued by the state of Indiana are eligible to participate as designated permittees. B, local DORA permit required. In addition to any state-issued permit, any fixed location establishment seeking to participate in the DORA shall apply for and obtain a local DORA permit issued by the city. C, application requirements. Applicants shall submit at minimum 1, proof of a valid Indiana alcoholic beverage permit. 2, agreement to comply with all DORA rules and operational requirements. 3, acknowledgement of participation policies, including container requirements and hours of operation. 4, if the applicant is a mobile vendor, participation in the DORA is contingent upon the applicant maintaining all required city licenses and permits and active and good standing at all times. D, review and approval by Board of Works. Upon submission of a completed application, the application shall be reviewed by the city administration and presented to the Board of Public Works and Safety for consideration. The Board of Public Works and Safety shall have the authority to approve or deny the issuance of a local DORA permit based on compliance with this ordinance and consideration of public health, safety, and welfare. No local DORA permit shall be considered valid unless and until it has been approved by the Board of Works and Public Safety. E, annual fee. Each participating fixed location permittee shall pay a non-refundable annual fee of $200. This fee is established to offset the city's administrative, signage, public safety, and sanitation costs associated with the operation of the DORA. Upon approval, permittees shall receive city-approved DORA stickers for beverage containers and required DORA signage. F, term and renewal. The local DORA permit shall be valid for 1 calendar year and must be renewed annually. G, revocation and suspension. The city may suspend or revoke a local DORA permit for 1, violation of this ordinance, 2, violation of state alcohol laws, 3, repeated public safety or nuisance issues. H, operational requirements. Participating permittees must 1, only use city-approved DORA containers. 2, clearly display participation signage provided by the city at all public entrances. 3, ensure compliance with all applicable laws and ordinances. Section 8, mobile vendors. Any establishment seeking to participate in the DORA on a temporary basis in connection with a festival, event, or similar activity must obtain a temporary vendor designation from the city prior to participation. B, application requirements. To obtain a temporary vendor designation, the applicant shall submit for each event 1, a completed special event permit application if applicable, 2, a completed DORA designation form, State Form 57288, or any successor form required by the state of Indiana, 3, proof of one of the following issued by the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission. A, temporary beer or wine permit. B, catering permit, including any applicable supplement. 4, a mobile food establishment permit. 5, a temporary food establishment license issued by the Marion County Department of Health if applicable. And 6, any additional documentation required by the city to ensure compliance with this ordinance and applicable law. C, review and approval. All applications for temporary vendor designation shall be reviewed by the Clerk Treasurer's Office and submitted to the Board of Public Works and Safety for approval. No vendor shall be permitted to operate within the DORA unless and until such approval is granted. D, location. Approved vendors may operate only within areas designated by the city and depicted in Exhibit A, or is otherwise approved in connection with a permitted event. E, compliance with laws. All vendors shall comply with applicable federal, state, and local laws, including all public health, safety, and permitting requirements established by the city. Section 9, DORA logo and signage. A, required signage. All signage required under Indiana Code 7.1-3-31 for designated outdoor refreshment areas shall be installed and maintained within the DORA. B, city oversight. The city shall oversee and approve all DORA-related signage, branding, logos, and district identification. This includes, but is not limited to, signage design, placement, and any associated district improvements or materials. C, standardization. All participating permittees and any related materials shall utilize city-approved DORA branding and signage standards to ensure consistency throughout the district. D, exhibit. The approved city DORA logo and signage are attached hereto as Exhibit C and incorporated herein by reference. Section 10, DORA boundary signage. Compliance with city code. All signage installed within or related to the DORA shall comply with applicable city ordinances, including the zoning ordinance and any applicable signage regulations, except where modified as necessary to comply with Indiana Code 7.1-3-31. B, boundary identification. Signage clearly identifying the boundaries of the DORA shall be installed at logical and conspicuous locations, including primary exit points from the designated area. C, placement. Boundary signage shall be placed in a manner generally consistent with the locations depicted on the map attached hereto as Exhibit A. Section 11, prohibited acts. Within the DORA, the following are prohibited. 1, possession or consumption of alcoholic beverages not purchased from a participating permittee. 2, carrying open containers outside the designated DORA boundaries. 3, glass containers. 4, public intoxication or disorderly conduct. 5, transfer of alcoholic beverages to anyone under the age of 21. Section 12, enforcement. A, this ordinance shall be enforced by the Beech Grove Police Department and any other authorized enforcement officials. B, violations may result in 1, immediate confiscation of alcoholic beverages. 2, issuance of citations or fines. 3, removal from the DORA. 4, suspension of a permittee's participation in the DORA. Section 13, right of refusal. A, any business, residence, landlord, building owner, retailer, real property owner, lessee, and other establishment located in a DORA may, on a non-discriminatory basis, refuse to allow patrons to enter their premises, building, property, or business with an alcoholic beverage. B, Any business or premises located in Adora that allows patrons to enter their premises, building, property, or business with an alcoholic beverage shall be required to post signage indicating that said business or premises is a participant in the Adora and that alcoholic beverages are permitted. Such signage can be provided by the city. C, the city maintains full authority and control over the city's sidewalks, streets, and/or other common areas. No person or entity may prohibit or limit open and authorized containers in accordance with the Act. Within Adora, those spaces except for the Beech Grove Police Department. D, all designated permittees and/or vendors shall continue to have the right to refuse service to any patron in their sole discretion in compliance with Indiana law. Section 14, permitted amounts. All designated permittees and/or vendors shall permit patrons to exit their premises with no more than one open container of an alcoholic beverage at a time. The contents of an open container may not exceed the following amounts. A, beer or flavored malt beverage of not more than 16 ounces. B, wine, cider, or hard seltzer of not more than 12 ounces. And C, a mixed drink of not more than 10 ounces, which contains not more than 2 ounces of liquor. Section 15, outdoor dining exception. If a designated permittee in Adora includes outdoor dining, the following exceptions apply. A, the designated permittee may serve alcoholic beverages in open containers during the hours of operation and in the areas approved by the retailer permit. B, glass containers may be allowed in the outdoor dining areas but may not be removed from those areas into the Adora. And C, no fencing or other enclosures of the outdoor dining area is required. Section 16, carryout businesses. The carryout privileges that a designated permittee may have under the scope of the designated permittee's other permits or licenses shall not be impacted and otherwise affected by being located within Adora. Carryout of sealed original containers shall be permitted. However, these containers shall not be opened or consumed within Adora. Section 17, liability. The city assumes no liability for actions of individuals within the Adora. All participants and permittees remain subject to applicable laws regarding alcohol consumption and service. Section 18, severability. If any section or provision of this ordinance is found invalid, such invalidity shall not affect the remaining provisions. Section 19, effective date. The ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its passage, approval, and publication pursuant to Indiana law, subject to formal approval by the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission, and placement of all signage contemplated by Section 9 of this ordinance. Accordingly, the city shall publish notice that such approval is received and all signage is posted, at which point patrons, permitted designees, and vendors may begin to exercise the privileges contemplated therein, subject to the provisions and requirements of this ordinance.
Thank you, Clerk Treasurer Stratton. A couple things here. So I know we heard this last month, the council heard this last month. So kind of lay some groundwork for how this came about. Back in 2016, I was president of the Beech Grove Chamber of Commerce, and we decided that we needed a Main Street group, the Next Stop Beech Grove. We knew our Main Street needed some help. We needed to grow our Main Street and encourage businesses and people to come back to our Main Street. It had changed over the years. Next Stop Beech Grove was formed, and it's become a group of business owners and employees who are fighting for our Main Street to encourage, make it a destination. There's been a lot of effort and work on our Main Street, investments made to encourage people to come to Main Street and to visit our shops and to stay and to come to events. So that there's been a lot of work for that. Okay, so when this opportunity came up with the state a couple years ago, we were following it and realized, this might be a good thing for our Main Street. Over the last few years, we've implemented outdoor dining for several entities along Main Street. So right now, as this ordinance states, this would not change the outdoor dining at Napoliville or anywhere else if they don't participate in Adora. So they're already out there on Main Street, okay, enjoying their beverages and having dinners with their family and friends out there on Main Street. What this would be is just allow that during those specific hours, allow somebody to go from one business to the next, right? As it was listed in that ordinance. So basically, if like say on Fourth Fridays, okay, we started First Friday several years ago, and if you haven't been to Fourth Fridays or First Fridays, I recommend you coming out to Main Street. There are lots of people that come out from all over Central Indiana and to our Main Street. Recently, we moved it to Fourth Fridays. There's a lot of competition. Everybody does First Fridays, right? And I applaud the Beech Grove Artists Collective for starting that several years ago. Next Stop Beech Grove has since taken that over. We had more than 60 vendors sign up to be vendors along Main Street for the month of May. Unfortunately, there's a lot of rain, and we had to move it to the following week on Friday, the 5th Friday. Had about half that, but Main Street was still busy. And there's nothing better than seeing people walking up and down Main Street, buying stuff, going inside the shops, buying from vendors, artists out there selling their artwork to patrons. It's become a destination. All that the door will do is to enhance that. You're not going to see droves of people come through. If you look through the 45 other municipalities across the state that have implemented the DORAs, you're not going to see that. It's not going to be hundreds of people coming to Main Street. It's not. It's not. It's going to encourage somebody to come for the Fourth Fridays. If they want to come down and get a glass of wine, they can walk into one of the Savage Napoli Villa, purchase that, and then continue their way down. And they can enter into other businesses. So basically it allows, if a business wants to say, yes, I support the DORA, it's implemented, the council has decided, okay, let's have a designated area. As a business owner, but not a restaurant or a bar, you can participate. So yes, you can come into my shop and shop. You know, you can have a glass of wine or an alcoholic beverage in your hand, and you can come in and stop. And that's what our goal is, to allow people to stay, okay, and then to start with one business and go to the next business. Come down and eat lunch. Come down and go shop and get some antiques, or buy flowers, or get shoes, or that's what we're encouraging people to stop and make it a destination. There's been so much work for regionalism in the greater Indianapolis region of bringing people here and being our own self, our own entity. There's a lot of discussion about the other 45 across the state. Are we trying to be like them? No. I think we can be a better version and our own version of that. And that is why we're presenting it tonight, because Beech Grove has a lot to offer, and our Main Street is wonderful, and it is the heart of our city, and it's going to continue to evolve. We have businesses growing and expanding on our Main Street. Smashburger just announced that they're going to open up a burger joint down there at the old Mom's location, which is great. We have businesses growing. We have Art of the Heart. They just opened up a shop there across from the coffee house. We have other entities opening and coming to Beech Grove. So there's a lot of areas that a lot of businesses that would be eligible to participate in this if it were enacted. And that goes all the way from Napoli Villa all the way down to Second. And there's multiple businesses who I assume would be interested in participating. So I think that's exciting. So I don't know. There's been a lot of discussions tonight from multiple people, and I appreciate everybody's opinion and coming out and discussing that. I did meet with Diana Hendricks last week, and we had a good conversation. I think we didn't agree on a lot of things, but we were cordial and we appreciate each other's comments and opinions, and that's how that meeting was left. So it was good. And I appreciate her meeting with me. So we're open up to discussion here. I don't know if you has any questions or comments or discussion.
I just want to add one thing, and then I have nothing else to say, I don't think. I think one of the bigger questions last month was about city liability. I did reach out and talk to our insurance provider, and there's no premium impacts on our rider with Astra. Astra just says as long as we follow the state's rules, no premium impact.
And I do applaud the because there's a lot of information. I think Diana referenced that on the city website about processes, the rules, the regulations, how this ordinance came to fruition, what it's based on, the implementation of how you implement this. And I think Lebanon just got approved.
Yeah, like 10 days ago.
They got approved or opened up.
They got it approved like 10 days ago,
So
and then they're starting to install signage now.
Yeah, there's going to be a process till they actually implement it. I think it takes about a year for the state to approve. Once the first step is for the city council, the municipality to approve that designated area. And with the state statute, they said that any entity can approve up to 7 doors in their own community, which is a lot. That's a lot. 7 is a lot. That was part of the state statute when they implemented that in 2023. So this pertains to 2, one for the Main Street and one for the parks. And if you haven't been to the summer concert series, you need to go. It's a wonderful way to show our parks and the city here and the residents. And I applaud Tiffany Flick and Tom Hannon for their work on organizing that each and every year. And it continues to grow, and it really showcases some of the best parts of Beech Grove and the people here. So this would only add to that as well. It's very small, limited time. It would not pertain to the July 3rd fireworks. I know that was discussed. It would not pertain to the Fall Festival, just based on the timeline there. So that at that time they would not be eligible for the DORA. You cannot have vendors and you cannot bring your alcohol during those events.
So I have a couple questions.
Yes, of course. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the permit fee for everybody who's going to be involved is $200.
Correct.
So how many people are signed up or telling you right now that they'll be willing to do a $200 permit fee to get involved?
So
How many?
I calculated the other day. I think right now there's potentially 11 or 12
Potentially.
businesses
Okay.
who are currently selling alcohol.
But no, are they,
And there's
have you
about
talked to
5,
them? Are
yes.
there- oh, about 5 that are saying
5
they're,
that
okay.
have already
So
said
at
yes.
$200, so there's no established penalty fee in this ordinance. And then we were just talking about wheel tax, local income tax, referendum, shortfall. So on the city budget, the city's gonna come up with the cups, the signage. Do you have any idea
No.
how much that's gonna
That's
cost?
not in the ordinance. So
That's not what it's, yeah,
The
the
fee
organization
offsets that
is.
price,
the
right?
fee offsets the
Yeah.
stickers. The businesses still have to provide the cups that are within the
Okay,
That's
so
rules.
the
the purpose of
signage
the
and
fee.
all of that, who covers the cost of all that for the city?
The permit fee.
The permit, and you have enough people, so if we vote yes on this, you have enough people that are going to sign up for it, that's gonna cover all those promoting costs.
Yes.
100%, nothing will come out of a city budget.
No.
No, it'll come out of the wherever the permit money
The
is.
cost
budget
is
for
very,
it.
is very little. It's for the biggest cost is the stickers.
Okay.
And luckily we have
that would go
signage
on there,
up
and
that we can add
the,
to.
the more they sign up, the more stickers we'd be able to order. So yes, that would cover that cost.
And then all those great successes of the city that you just said, all came without people walking around with alcohol, just to make sure that the community knows all those great successes
Oh, for sure.
had nothing to
It's-
do with carrying alcohol at events.
Correct. And I think it's continued to evolve, and I think that's something, and because you couldn't do that in
Yeah.
2017 when we first started a lot of the efforts for Main Street. So yes, you could not do that, but I think with what Ohio's had it implemented since 2015, I think they're up to 140 some doors across the state, and overall, I think it's a positive aspect. It's been there this is their 11th year having them implemented, and I think they're doing successful. So economic development wise, I think it has the potential to encourage people to come to Fourth Fridays, to encourage people to visit here, and to leave the restaurant and explore Main Street because they're able to. At least that's a hope. Right?
But
That's a hope.
what's gonna be a penalty fee? Why isn't there not a penalty fee in the ordinance?
I think there's state penalty fees
There's-
already
yeah.
from like
That
excise.
refers back to the Indiana
But-
code that this rep keeps
But there's
referencing.
no penalty fee that comes back to the city of Beech Grove.
I think legally we would have to check if we can double fine, like in the same way you can't double tax.
Because they'd be fined by.
They'd be fined by
Correct.
excise
That's
and
correct.
Indiana State,
So
yeah.
they would, how they currently fine them, that's how that would come into effect.
So then there's no extra budgetary concerns for cleanup after an event, anymore from using our DPW to clean up or having policing monitor the perimeters?
No, both of those aspects, they're both taken care of now. So when we do have, say for instance, Fourth Fridays, DPW does come out on that Friday, and they bring barricades if needed. They don't need barricades for Fourth Friday, but totes and barricades basically. And they come back and pick them up on Monday, and that's with the current events that happen on Main Street.
But there'll be no
and then-
increased policing need?
I don't
No
foresee
increase-
that, no. I
No
don't
increased
foresee
policing
that.
fee
They are-
for the budget for
Correct.
staff?
They will be well aware of that, and the chief can speak to that as well. But they are ready to implement as this thing would potentially grow. As we've seen the concert series grow over the last several years, they changed it, and they understand that. Before you could drive through, there'd be a decent amount of people there, but as it continues to grow into the hundreds, you will see them because they understand it's a large group of people congregating in an area.
But what you're
And
saying-
that's what they're
Go ahead, sorry. go ahead.
that's what they're trained to do, and to realize when these events happen, they will come out and they will police them accordingly.
But what you're saying, this door will be $0 tax burden on the citizens of the city from the budget.
I
from
don't
the city
think you
budget.
see any change, correct?
I don't think, but there won't be.
Yeah,
No.
I mean,
Okay.
he can speak to it, the
Okay.
chief can't, but no, there will not be.
Okay, it will not cost the citizens, tax-paying citizens, any extra money to implement this, period, zero.
Yes.
Correct.
I'd like to.
Go ahead.
We all want to talk. I'd just like to applaud you guys for putting this together, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's very well defined. I mean, we have the boundaries defined, we have the permits, the prohibited, acts, the geographic area. And I think it's important to state also that, for anybody that is, not a supporter of this, and we all have our opinions and, certainly our stances because of careers and what have you. You know, we do already have a DORA in Beech Grove. I don't know if anybody understands that or not. It happens every year. It's at Holy Name. That is not just drinking, that is also
That's private
gambling.
property.
We are
They
also.
carry their own insurance, it's not on the tax.
Is it a designated area where there's drinking in
And
there
children.
in front of children? That's all I'm saying.
But
It
you
is
bring
still
your,
a
you
DORA.
choose to come there. It's not a taxpayer thing. You choose this event. So.
Councilman Bryant, I
We
do
hook up
disagree.
the city sewer.
It does take city funding for
A
that.
lot of city
because we
resources.
provide-
It does.
We provide barricades and trash.
And a
it
sewer
goes down
hookup.
a city road.
And we also have
direct
police.
sewer.
It does, yeah, I mean, a bunch
So
of.
I was gonna say, it is a
Yeah.
taxpayer thing.
It is. I mean, I'm just giving a little
It's not
comparison.
sponsored by the city of Beech Grove.
Neither is
They don't have
allowed.
Beech
And no
Grove on their
liability for the city
cups.
of Beech Grove in any way upon it. If somebody.
And this
dies
isn't
there,
sponsored
Oakley
either.
Grove.
This is all given by the
Passed by the
establishment.
By the establishment.
By the
Just like
establishments.
Moyne establishes that.
Let's don't be mixing church and state.
Yeah, well, and
So,
before
you know,
we get, hold
I
on,
know.
stop,
I mean,
for
this is
just a
getting out of
second,
hand.
I don't want
It's
people to
ridiculous.
get fighting over
Yeah,
things.
we don't need to.
I
just
didn't
wanna
mention
make sure.
specifically, I understand what Councilor Lamping is saying about city resources, and that's why we chose the amount that we did for this permit. I know in my financial report, I said I'm reviewing permits. I think it's kind of long overdue for the city to charge a fee for if you're wanting to close down the street. It could be obviously reduced if you're a nonprofit, but every time the city shuts down the street for the promoters club, for the park, for everything, a city employee is doing that. And I think we're to the time where the budget is where the budget's at. It wouldn't hurt to charge a small fee to cover labor. So, and I understand that, and I did take that into consideration when I put that fee schedule in there.
With that being said, we need to quit subsidizing everybody's water bill in Beech Grove and everybody pay their individual usage of what they use. Instead of Grandma Smith filling somebody's swimming pool who has a 800 square foot home, one bath, but yet there's somebody over here in Park Grove or whatever filling swimming pools for $90 a month.
And on that
So if we
note,
want to talk about fairability.
I am
that's-
working on I'm not the most tech savvy person, but I'm attempting, is to take 3 or 4 months of the past 12 months of usage, where people will be able to go, it probably won't be on our website directly, because I don't know how to implement that, but take into a website where you can search your address to see what you're paying now versus what you'd be paying by usage. So that is something I am working
I don't get
on.
city water, so I don't have to worry about it. I just.
I mean, for
that
your
doesn't
sewer, I
concern
mean,
me. It's Granny Smith I worry about who has
for the
one
sewer,
bath.
yeah, and this sewer bill, but not for water usage. We don't do water usage. But I am working on that.
So that was my financial question. So the second then would be the mix of, people drinking alcohol. Nobody can determine how alcohol consumption affects every single person. You're in the park for 90 minutes, you don't know how much people are going to drink in 90 minutes. Well, in 90 minutes, whatever they drink, they're going to be getting a vehicle and driving somewhere, home, wherever. So nobody has a barometer that can show the effects of what one drink versus 10 drinks on somebody's system and how it affects them as far as how their behavior changes. So the safety concern I have, again, as I said at the last meeting, is the fact that a lot of people in this state now can carry weapons around because of our laws, the availability of, and then when you have that mix, I just think it's a disaster that could really cost us on the personal level. That, and then just the healthcare part of it, I was very much a part of and endorsed and presented the non-smoking ordinance, which we all know that smoking is bad for us. Scientifically, clinically, healthcare, we know what the effects of alcohol does on all systems of the body, heart disease, vascular disease, vessel disease of all kinds. Alcohol affects and deteriorates the body just in the same way. So there is no way I'd be a true hypocrite to myself and to what I stand for to vote on something that would allow alcohol when I felt the way I did about smoking. To me, they're the same, so I could not support this for those reasons.
You had something.
Go ahead, I'll say mine when you finish.
I just wanted to piggyback off the concern for the park and the concerts. I think a lot of it has to do with the type of venues we're bringing in and the bands that we're bringing in. Our parks people are bringing in, family-friendly bands, and you see the families there. We're not going to bring in, the type of crowd that's just going to be there to get sloshed. You can still be there and have a good time with your family with the type of bands that we have coming in.
I
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
add that Union Suit Rally had a song called Liquor and Weed. That's just ironic.
Yeah.
But like, so it's not like the song choices, you're still getting exposed to alcohol.
For sure, yeah, but a lot of it has to do with the venue that we're setting up, though. You know, that's going to bring in the crowd that's going to want to have the family-friendly time. So,
So to bring it back then, so it's being presented on first reading tonight, okay, with two doors, two separate doors, okay, one for the Main Street and one for the park, and the summer concert series specifically for the summer concert series. Can you say something?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm being motion. Say something.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hello.
Hi. I just wanted to kind of comment on what you were saying. So, wildly enough, I actually had a handful of people complain that our concerts were not family friendly based on the music that was being sung. I take that into consideration when we book the bands. And then I also wanted to share that I have had a handful of people come up to me at the concert series telling me that they were in support of the Dora. I've also had a handful of food and liquor, like beer and wine vendors, reach out to me. So the City of Beech Grove, we actually charge a separate fee for food trucks to come here, which is why we don't get a lot of food trucks outside of the city that want to come to the concert series. I have at least 10 to 12 that have reached out to me that have said if we allow beer and wine in the park, they would be willing to pay that fee to come to the City of Beech Grove. So I just wanted to share that.
thank you.
I got a question for you, Tiffany.
Yes, of course.
Is your ultimate goal is to have a door at the community center?
No, because we are connected to a school.
Okay.
So we cannot. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anything else?
It could probably help.
It would help.
Yeah, it would help, yeah.
But unfortunately, no.
I don't think it's going to help anybody.
For weddings,
it
it
can't,
would.
just because of the school.
For wedding receptions.
Which is a good question, though. So,
I've got one other comment.
Of course, yes, sir.
I find it oddly interesting that none of the people that hold an alcohol permit are in here in support of it. I haven't heard one way or the other. They may be supportive, they may not be, but none of them have came forward. Well, my opinion on that, because I found that interesting, was the fact they're probably going to lose money. Are we taking money away from some of our brick and mortar places because someone comes in here for a year and pays $200? I had a guy from Franklin Township contact me about their bus, their beer bus, and he's very interested in come here. Why wouldn't he? He couldn't get a building, a storefront for that kind of money. And I think we're actually going to hurt some of our bar owners here. Because any vendor truck, food, whatever.
And that's something that those are some of the commitments or stipulations that you can do as a council member. If you don't want alcohol vendors coming to Main Street and setting up shop, that's something you can implement.
Well, I mean,
you have to for the park, but for Main Street, that can be something. If you don't want the door to include,
Are we going to be a clown situation where these bicycle bars come? And, you know, they're going to ride their bikes up and down Main Street.
Or the Carmel Blues Cruise.
I just don't think it looks good for Beach Grove.
I don't know how that works. I don't know what the process of that, but
you jump on there and start pedaling.
Yeah, I
and keep your arm moving.
We do, but I mean the process of opening one of those businesses. So, but yeah, so I see what you're saying. But yeah, the business owners have not. They are not here. I know there are several that are supportive of it.
Well, and by the way, I just like saying Chris Duffer was there. There was 2 Main Street business owners today that were in opposition to this. He heard them, I heard them. And, you know, this has not been monitored out to the public well enough. The 2-hour parking signs, we did more thinking about what was going on with it than what we have this door.
Yeah. So, and I think that's why you guys decided to table it last month, and I think that was a good decision. I think we want to make sure that the public knows what this ordinance states, how it's written, and if there's any modifications that you see as a council, if you hear from your constituents that, you know, they like it, but they don't want to see this, or the hours, or the days, any of that, we can change any of that, right? And that is your call. But again, this is on first reading only. And if we have continued discussions, we can have discussions again in July, okay? Then we can hear it on second reading and continue to let the public know on that and do a third reading.
We can modify whenever we deem necessary.
By resolution.
Correct.
Which is
good. Anytime.
Correct.
Yeah.
After the fact, you can.
Yeah.
You can present it again and modify.
If we see an issue, we can
ordinance.
go back and modify the ordinance.
Correct.
Yeah. Anytime. Yeah.
Correct. it is kind of a living document that way, but you do have to get approval. So, but yes, you can make that change. And bring it back. So this is just on first reading this evening, okay? And if there's other information or questions or concerns that you might have, I'd be happy to reach out. Samantha Stratton can reach out. We can pull some business owners in next month to chat with you all to have their discussions and their concerns maybe raised to the council. Because at the end of the day, if they're not interested, then why are we doing it, right? So I think the interest is in there. I think the potential is there. But again, I think we're open to that. So
I'd like to make a motion to deny the DORA in its entirety.
the whole ordinance.
The whole ordinance. Do away with the DORA 100%.
Well, I'm not going to vote for it, but I want the council to have an opportunity to vote on however they think.
That's fine.
I would rather err on the side of caution, and I just don't think the risk versus the benefits are there for me. But I'm not going to, I'll vote the way I know I should vote on it. But that's how I.
And I think that, like Jim said, that is why we tabled it last month, because I think there's still a lot of things to talk about, it seems to me there's as many people for it as there are against it. I respect and understand why a lot of people are against it. I understand that there's a lot of people that come from other areas that have DORAs that also follow food trucks, beverage trucks, come into areas where there's art. It's not saying that this is a fix, that it's going to bring people. We don't know though. I think as a pilot program, I think we would owe it to the city to try and maybe give it a chance and see if it increases anything, if it brings any kind of negatives that we don't know about. Our children are already around everything. They walk up and down the sidewalks right now, past Napoli, past Fifth, where people are out there drinking already. We can't shelter them from everything. I understand we should do what we can, as much as we can. However, reality is it is not going to happen 100%. And to restrict everybody else's ability also at the same time, I don't know that that's fair. I think that if there's a motion to, go with it, I'm definitely going to be in that favor of it.
I just wanted to say also, as someone that cares about the community as well, I believe this conversation has reflected what Beech Grove is all about, working together and listening to one another. And what I'm hearing is almost as if there's no guardrails. And I just want to thank the chief and his partner too, who I call officer and gentleman, for their thoughtful information that they gave us. And they really made me feel good about the fact that they have really looked at this and shut it down when it wasn't right. And I appreciate that. And so I just want to especially acknowledge that and just believe this initiative is not just about development. It's about creating safe, welcoming spaces where families and neighbors and local businesses can thrive together. It's about building a connection and pride and opportunity right here in Beech Grove. And what I'm hearing is everybody think we're just going to be walking up and down the road drinking all day and night. And that's not what's happening. So I can appreciate that as well. And I don't drink, but I don't think I have a right to stop everybody from their designated area to take care of what they're doing.
Could I get the clerk treasurer one last time to read, for the crowd and myself, when the DORA is in effect?
Yes.
For Main Street?
Yes, let me find that. Sorry, can you tell me what page it is? Second page, okay. Yeah, days and hours of operation, okay. DORA number 1 shall be in effect Thursday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Saturday from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Sundays from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. between only between Memorial Day and Labor Day each year, and door number 2 shall only be active during city-sanctioned events held within Sarah T. Bolton Park between the months of May through August, and only during event hours. The Common Council may amend these hours by resolution at any time. If there is a request to amend for a specific event, this event must be first approved by the Board of Works and Safety before taken to the council for approval 60 days prior to event.
So my point in that is, like the Congress lady just said, it's not gonna be all day long people walking up and down the street drunk. So,
Friday and Saturday is when a lot of your family like to get out. If they're gonna visit Main Street, you know, Thursday night maybe not as much, but a Friday night possibly get out this Saturday afternoon. And are they gonna wanna expose their kids to that or take the chance of it, or possibly, you know, to go to Spalding's or something maybe and stumble across somebody, actually if they spill a beer, whatever, anything, you know, stuff just happens.
well, I've been to, in fact, I love going to the Oktoberfest, and I don't think that that's a negative.
No, that's not. It's kind of a plan. You kind of know what you're getting there when you go to an Oktoberfest.
Yeah, but even so, I would take my kids.
Absolutely.
I mean,
There's
they're
kids
gonna
of all
see me
ages.
sitting
There's
at
a
home
kid zone.
drinking a beer.
There's a place especially just for the kids, you know, so there is a kid zone to keep them away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. His wife puts it on.
Good.
Does a wonderful
Great
job
event.
with
It is organized.
So, yeah.
And this isn't changing any laws. It's still illegal to be publicly intoxicated.
Yeah.
So,
Still get caught.
yeah.
The problem with it is though, there's a bar on every block. God help these people if they can't walk from O'Gara's to Fifth Avenue, from Fifth Avenue over the Silver Bullet to the American Legion. I have nothing wrong with them drinking. It's them participating out on the street where the children are vulnerable.
I want to, can I add about that? So there's certain businesses on Main Street right now that already have carry-out permits. So you can buy a drink. I don't know if Greeks got it or not, but Scarlet Grove had a carry-out. They had a carry-out, which you could take an alcoholic drink with a lid and leave and walk around. So in that case, the only addition that would happen was if a business has a sticker on it that says Dora, you're allowed to then take that carry-out drink in with you to that business. So we've had carry-out drinks. People have been walking up and down Main Street with carry-out drinks already, and it's fully legal under Indiana state law. So I just want to add that. That's a clarification of it's not, we're allowing people to go outside, it's, we're allowing people to go in and
So we don't need
out.
to pass the door then. It's already legal under Indiana state law, so why do we need to pass the door?
In and out of the buildings.
But still, you said we walked up and down Main Street with drinks.
For those people with the permit, but like Allison Agnes doesn't have a permit to allow somebody to bring a wine slushie from the bookstore into Allison Agnes because they're shopping and they want to go into different places. But like, there's always going to be a business, not on Main Street, but like somewhere that says no food or drink at all. It's kind of that same thing. It's no food or drink. If you want to shop there, you have to finish it outside.
So it profit the vendors then who sold them, because they pound it down, then go to Alice and Agnes's or whoever, get a book, whatever, go back and get another drink and then read it.
No, they'll drink it in Allison Agnes. They're not going to pound anything.
So doors are more.
But they don't have a permit to have alcohol or whatever, how they gonna?
Doors are more implemented to encourage businesses to work together. Okay, it's not to go from one bar and hop to the next. That's not why doors were originated. The purpose is to leave a restaurant or a bar and go check out another establishment. Not necessarily another restaurant.
They can't do that without a drink in their hand.
I'm sorry.
And within blocks of Beach Grove, they can't do that without a drink in their hand.
Well,
It's
it's
just
just
that
not
they
encouraging
can,
them
it's
to
just that
explore.
should they have the option
It
to be able to
encourages
do
the
it.
exploration. It's not encouraging the drink. It's for them to explore. So that's where the doors came about. It's not it's not encouraging the drink. It's encouraging the people to explore what
After
Main
a
Street
child's
is.
cartoon, Dora the Explorer, is that what you're going there?
So-
Is that what you're
No.
going with us? After
Don't
a
start
child's
singing.
cartoon.
Don't start singing the song either.
No,
Well,
no,
it
you
is after
painted a picture
Exploradora,
for me
you
where
can
guys are going
explore.
with it. You painted a perfect picture when you said Explorer, Dora the Explorer. Says it all.
So that's the purpose of it. So I know there's been a lot of discussion tonight, and I appreciate everybody's comments and everybody who came out and speak for or against the Dora proposal. So again, this is just on first reading only tonight. Okay, it's been presented. The clerk treasurer read it into the record. So I'd entertain what other council would like to do. We'd like to call to a vote, bring a motion, hear it on first reading.
I think
There's already a
Councilor
motion being
McMillan.
asked.
Well, it's already been presented, so you can't have a
Correct.
motion to withdraw it. It's already
Correct.
been presented.
That's what I was saying.
You can
He's already
table
done
it, or you can have a vote on it.
Well, did he get, was there any
was
other
not.
seconds?
There wasn't a second.
And he made a
I
motion
don't
to
think
withdraw. so
anyone
we can't
asked for a
He
second.
voted to deny it, so if you want to call to make a motion to approve it and it fails, that's one thing. You don't correct? Craig, am I wrong on that or not?
Yeah, I don't think you can make a motion to deny, yeah. You can vote to deny when a motion to approve.
Correct.
That way it doesn't get confusing and legally weird.
Well, I'll make said motion to approve it on first reading.
A second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. I'll start with Council Ernest.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No,
No,
Yes.
Thank you. So general ordinance number 2, 2026, Dora, first reading, passes by a vote of 4-3 on first reading only. We will hear that again in our July meeting. There's no new business this evening. Start with councilor comments on my far right.
Yeah, so I just want to explain my vote real briefly. Part of our job is to represent our districts and talk to our people, right? I try to get my people engaged on everything we're going to vote on and get some of their feedback. And I can tell you on this subject alone, I've seen more engagement than pretty much anything else that I've brought to District 5's attention. And it's probably over 90% overwhelmingly in favor of the DORA for every reason that we spoke to tonight. So I just wanted to get that on the record. And thank our police officers and all of our public employees, and have a good week.
Have a wonderful week.
I just want to say, my opinion is, my brother was hit and killed by a drunk driver in 1977, Fort Hood, Texas. So, and Beech Grove has had a black eye about alcoholism all its life. I've lived here all my life, I've seen it. 25 blocks long, like Mr. McMillan said, 10 bars up and down this, something bad about this town. But besides that, yeah, so alcohol has never done my family no favors, so just so everybody knows my view. And the people I've spoken to from every district there at church is equivocally, no, Beech Grove doesn't need that, so. Thank you. And remember, kids are out, school's out. Keep an eye out for the kids.
Yes, sir.
And I'm with Mike. I've heard, positives and negatives. I have heard a lot more positives in my district than I have negatives. I appreciate everybody's stance, as I've said before. We all do have opinions. It's not saying this is going to be a perfect thing. Not going to say it's not going to be a perfect thing. Our children are, exposed to a lot. As has been stated here, we have several bars up and down Main Street. People already come in and out of those, whether they've drank or not, and children are exposed to it with their families already. I don't think we're going to have a bunch of people getting rowdy and crazy and carrying on like some people may think it is. And I really hope that I'm not wrong on that. I think it deserves a right to try it and go from there. Thank you all for coming.
June is Pride Month, so everybody remember that. So also, I grew up in a profession and continue to do the same that relies on scientific experts. I listen to and base my opinions and my decisions on people who know what's best for the community through science and healthcare. And I just think that I'll rely on those experts for this decision making, because that's what I've done my whole life.
I'd just like to say that overwhelmingly, the people that has contacted me is not in support of this DORA, which is not uncommon for the people to contact me that want me to vote against something because they know I'll bring it forward. I don't work for the mayor, I don't work for the council. I do what the citizens want, and overwhelmingly, that's what they wanted.
I agree with Mr. McMillan that I'm a representative. I do what the citizens want. Much like Councilor Ernest said, it was kind of split relatively even. The people that contacted me and wanted this to pass. I want everyone to remember that there are 3 readings for an ordinance. It only passed on first reading. It's not been made law yet. It won't be made law until after it's passed on the 3rd reading. So if I get a bunch of people, if a grassroots situation happens and they contact me and they don't want this, then the voting might change and it might not pass on 2nd or 3rd reading. So just bear in mind that I do listen to my constituents. You contact me, I read it. I don't always respond that I read it, but I read it and I listen to what you say, and I vote accordingly.
Thank you.
Well said. And one more thing, if I could, real quick, Mayor. We will be putting a residential parking permit survey online for everybody that's interested and possibly getting, we're wanting to see who might actually be interested in obtaining a parking permit to be able to park in front of your house. It's just a survey. Let's see who's interested. If there's a large number of people interested, then we can move forward with the next steps on that.
Can you put the door on that also?
So, council members, thank you for your time this evening. Few of you do have the comprehensive plan that was passed. I know it was requested that you all receive hard copies of that, so if you had not had a chance to pick it up in the last few months, it is in front of you. So please take that home and share that and go through that. Plain City Initiative returns this weekend, June 6th from 9 to noon behind City Hall. Shredding, drug take back, recycling, and more, and that is free initiative from the city. Construction on the Arlington Hanna Roundabout is now scheduled for June 15th, and we're pretty confident on that, hopefully. This project was funded by the Indianapolis Metropolitan Planning Organization. And then, as mentioned, the summer concert series has returned. The next one is on June 11th with the group Trainwreck. Next council meeting will take place.
I'm sorry.
The next council meeting will take place on Monday, July 6th. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make said motion.
I say.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 9:25.
Oh, my.